Not like it's a huge difference. What is this HPET? HPET? What is that? HPET is an Intel thing, isn't it? I don't know. Someone just mentioned it. Linus did a great video on it. Okay. You guys will have to send me, you'll have to send me something. Let's see here. It says my bit rate's not high enough. The stream's fine, right? I think who's that behind me? What are you talking about? I don't have anyone behind me. Can I switch the Cat 5 to Cat 8 for better internet speed? My laptop's about 100 feet from the router. Eric, I'm not sure. I'm not a networking cable expert. Um, the best thing you can do is probably test it or look up if you're very curious about that specific thing. I would say to look it up. Okay, we're getting 103 in the match too right now. Interesting. So you can see that it may just depend on what area of the map you're on, because I guess we're in a less populated area and we're getting great FPS here. Jeez. Ooh, I'm almost dead. This guy has an advantage on me because he's up in the sky. Oh, I gotta get rid of this mic in my face here. Come here. Oh my gosh. It's very, very tight. Okay. All right. What are your temps right now? So my temps on the GPU are 77 on the GPU. The CPU temperature is not showing up. Let's see if we can fix that. Monitoring. CPU clock usage. There is no temperature. So that means we have to load up HW info. Oh, we have a couple things open. We need to close these extra windows as well. Definitely need to close some of these windows. So I might need to have to actually hop back in that Battle Royale zone. Minimize system tray. Okay, run. Okay, we are. Oh boy. I'm gonna try to get to my benchmarking spot where I go all the time. We're actually getting surprisingly close results so far in game to what I was getting in the Battle Royale training zone. Like right around 99 or 100 still. I want to shoot at this guy. Not that I would even hit him really. It's a BIOS option. The HDMI is integrated graphics only. If my TV only has an HDMI, would I need a Chromecast to play games externally? No. So Matt, you can still play games through an HDMI. You're just going to see a performance reduction in some games, especially CPU-bound games. So it's gonna vary a lot. Let's see here. I'm not even sure. What is with this scribbling over the downtown, man? Any OLED Ryzen laptops out? Trying to think. So OLED, I know we have an Aero OLED, or Aero, sorry, Aero. I always say Aero. Aero OLED laptop. Um, Trying to think about any other ones that are out there. So this is putting up shockingly good frames for this area. Like I'm actually pretty impressed. Let's see. Okay, so this is a little bit lower here. All right, so this is a very, um, typically a very CPU bound area, but let's go ahead and see what we're doing here. Okay, you can see our CPU temperatures are 88 right now. GPU temperatures are 78. Oh, and there's a person interrupting my benchmark. They ran for their lives. Okay. All right. All right. LOL. Okay. I just didn't want to. Oh God. Oh. I don't have any ears, so I like meaning I can't hear the in-game audio. So we were doing pretty good on the FPS front though. Like we're actually chunking out some great frames. Um, surprisingly better at performance than I was thinking this thing would have. Did your Scar 15 on stress test get to 99C? No. Uh, no. Only in turbo mode did it get very high. Um, typically it's a lot less than that. Prepare to fight. Here we rounds until we fight. One. Here we go. Oh, what is this? We're doing snipers? Oh God. Come back around, please. Oh no! I had him. Oh, he could see me a little bit. What did he use to see me? I'm not even sure. Let's see if we can get the actual benchmark done now. Okay. Pretty impressed with the frame rate. Higher than I thought it was going to be in actual gameplay. I was expecting closer to like 80, but we were hitting like upper 80s, 90s, even over 100 pretty often. Laptops have come a long way. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I have this in my cart. Should I purchase? Mush, if you get it from Best Buy, it's a pretty regret-free purchase, I think, because it's just easy to return if you don't like it. Currently own an Acer Nitro 5 Black Edition GTX 860M, looking for a new laptop with the 3000 series. Legion 5 Pro or Asus TUF F15. The Legion 5 Pro is going to give you a lot more performance, I think, but it's also not available in the United States yet, so good luck. What settings is this game running on? We're on all low settings, except for textures. That said, you can bump it up to higher settings and still get shockingly good performance, I believe. I don't want to change any settings yet. And that's just like, it seems like from what I saw, at least with the higher power RTX 3000 series laptops, you can run the games, you can run a lot of these games at low settings and you get a small performance gain. And then when you add it to high or ultra settings, you only lose like, I was watching a Jared's Tech video and I think he only showed like a 20 FPS drop to go to ultra settings or something like that. But I think that was with a 3070 laptop, so that may be a bit different. Where are we at? What's good? There's a dude. All right. I think that guy is like one shot. We try turning up the sound. Oh wow. That is pretty loud sound. Oh, we gotta kill long distance with an SMG. Oh god. Don't do it. Oh, what a perfect grenade. Okay, I gotta say, I'm impressed with these speakers. Like, for gaming, like, I can easily hear the game over the loud fans. I wasn't expecting that. Honestly, like, I was expecting it to be drowned out. I have a full desktop. Alex Barboza. I just bought this from Best Buy. Cool, man. Oh, by the way, if you do want to support my channel, there is a link to Best Buy in the video description down below. Um, with a link to this laptop. So, and if you do buy through that link, it does help support my channel. So thank you guys very much. But no pressure to buy this thing. Only get it if you think it'll meet your needs. Yeah. I have a full desktop with a Ryzen 5 2900X GTX 1070 Ti. I'm looking at this laptop. Should I buy it? I'm guessing this will perform better than that common sense, and it'll be thin and light. So yeah, can you guys? We're gonna be going through all these games. If you really want to see only a specific game, just come back in a couple hours when I've tested everything. So. Should I buy the Zephyrus Duo 15 or wait for the Duo 15 SE? I don't know, Zipple. I would say at this point, buy whatever is in stock or you can get your hands on that meets your needs because I don't expect stock to get better. I think stock will get worse, honestly. So, okay, so this is my benchmarking run section right here. I stand right here on the edge, point all the way down to the end. Then we go like this, and we start running. Okay. Do you accept donations? Shane Hutchings, yeah, you can donate through Super Chat as well on the channel. So, but don't feel like you have to. If you want to, that's the way to do it for right now, though. Boom. Okay, so we got 8766 for in a match performance. Okay, and I suppose we can just let this run. Let me go ahead and put that. I'm gonna put that result in as well. We can run it one more time, but I just want to type this in real quick. Solos, we got 8766. Okay. Now let's try running that one more time. Run it back. I've noticed that when you do this run multiple times, sometimes the frame rate varies a little bit. So I like doing it a few times just to make sure I get a consistent number within a couple frames of each other. Okay. And the reason for the variation typically is because of how many players maybe are landing near you, or if like stuff is going on around you. You know, like UAV stuff in the air, um, and again the number of players that are near you. So okay, so 88, 66. That's very close to what we had. We had 87, 66 before, so perfect. All right. Now I'm going to retest in the training zone just because it only takes a second. Oops. It looks like I closed it. We got to reopen the sucker. Because I had a couple windows open in the background, that invalidates the run. I redo my test anytime I see anything that's not not perfect. G14 versus G15. Basically, Vishnu, you're looking at you give away a little bit of performance for more portability for the G14. That's what you're looking at. And you get like a noticeably thinner, lighter laptop with the G14. But like I said, yeah, less performance because there's only so much power you can pack into a thin and light laptop. What's the difference between the 2060 Max Q and the 3060 Max Q? So the display, like, there's a lot of differences. I talked about them earlier in the stream, Robert. Um, the biggest one though is the display, 144 hertz, or you can get the QHD. So the display is a big factor. Improved speakers is another big difference between last year's model and this year's model. We've got the 3060 versus 2060. We'll have to see how much performance differences there is between those two. I did do my test of benchmarks on the 2060 version last year, so you can look up the Timespy and different results. If you search on my channel, you can see the 2060 results, and you can compare those results to this video if you want to see the graphical difference. That said, I've changed how I do my benchmarks since then. So don't expect all the same exact tests, but I do Cinebench R20, I believe, and then Timespy. It may have been Cinebench R15 back then, actually. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to turn this down because these speakers are so loud. Okay, nice. G14 is the ugliest I've ever seen. What? I think this laptop is gorgeous. You're crazy town. Does Legion 5 run better because of better cooling? Yeah, the Legion 5 is a lot thicker, larger machine than the G14. So you're going to get higher TDP because they can put more heat pipes in there and with bigger fans to displace the heat. Um, yeah, so or disperse the heat really. So yeah, you're going to get more performance out of a thicker machine. Same reason why you're going to get more performance out of the Zephyrus G15, and then you're going to get more performance again out of something even thicker like the Strix G15. So how hot is the keyboard right now? Good question. The WASD keys are slightly warm. Middle of the keyboard around the G and H and J key are noticeably warmer. All the other keys, whoa, that was loud. Whoa. Oh. Huh, I just got a notification. Okay. All right, let me finish this test and then I'm going to add this. That was so loud. I set up some auto notifications for the first time. Maybe this is working. Let's see. Uh, Aorus 15G is supposedly just came in stock. Let's find out if that is true. Oh, it is true. And oh my God, they increased the price by $300. Oh my God. What? The what? Oh my God. Look at this. I'll send this link to some of you guys. You don't have to. Or I'll just show it to you. I'll just show it to you. I think that'll show my screen, right? Yeah. Look at this. Aorus 15G. $19.99 to $22.99. Oh, wow. That's going to be a lot harder to recommend. Whew. That's still a price where maybe it's worth it, but it's that becomes less worth it. Let me just say that much. Um, okay, so 102.97. So basically the exact same results as we had before. Okay. Shane Hutchings with the $10 donation. Your videos are awesome, very informative. Thank you for all you do. Thanks, Shane. I really appreciate the $10, man. It does help support me as a creator. Okay. Uh, and I do mean that. So thank you very much. All right, so we're done with Warzone. All right, I'm gonna go buy the 2020 G14. What? Really? Okay. I would say only to buy that if you get it at a good discount. Q2 prices are gonna go up. Kenpachi Dirt, I was thinking about making a video about that. I mean, in some senses it makes sense because yeah, I mean, think about it like from the perspective of these manufacturers, they're like, well, the alternative is to go buy a desktop, and desktops are absurdly sold out. So people are going to laptops instead. They're like, okay, I'll just upgrade my laptop for now. And then because they're not overpriced. And so now they're like, I think the demand for laptops have also gone up since the pandemic started. So combine all those factors together, I can see why manufacturers are going to be like hiking the prices. So might be a really good time to buy a laptop if you get it in stock. I wouldn't be surprised to see prices go up even higher than they are right now, even higher than $22.99. Okay, hey, love the content. What would you choose between the Tough A17, ROG Strix G15, and the G15 that came back into stock in UK? 130 watt TDP is enticing. 15-inch screen though. I'm not the G15. Do you mean the Zephyrus G15? Okay, here we go. You should get your laptops now. Ken Patchy Dirt. Yeah, maybe. Uh, is it really worth going above 144 hertz on monitors? Alligator XX3, yes, I would say it is if you play competitive games that can consistently hit high frame rates. So if you play Fortnite, Overwatch, CS:GO, games like that, it's going to be worth it. A game like Warzone where you're not pushing over 144 FPS, not worth it. So it's just going to depend. Jordan Milosevic says tariffs. I don't actually, I'm sure tariffs might be related, Jordan, but I think it might actually be more related to the shortage, the CPU, GPU shortage that we're running into right now because of the pandemic. It's been a while since I watched a live. Life just happened. What's up, Kareem? Welcome to the stream. Yes, no, ghosting. Yes, there is some ghosting on this display. So I wouldn't recommend this display for people that are really competitive and want a ghost-free gaming experience. Supply and demand. Yeah, supply and demand basically, I think is the issue. I could not get a controller to work on Far Cry 5. Will be interesting if you could. Not sure if you use controllers. I use SteelSeries Duo. So Shane, I have used the Xbox controller every now and then. Let me see here. Depending on the game, sometimes I'll switch out to using an Xbox controller. This pairs natively with my Scar 15. I don't need a dongle. I don't need anything else. I just turn this on and connect to Bluetooth, and I'm connected with a controller. So um, it works great. So if I would recommend something like that, if you're looking to get a controller set up. Robert Buck, how is this guy not at over 1 million subs? Thanks, Robert. I am over 100. I am at over 1 million subs on my main channel, not on my tech channel. How much do you think they will increase? Well, the Aorus 15G went up $300, Britt. So, eh, I don't know. Okay, taking a look at our temperatures and power limits. We're hitting 65 on our GPU power limit, 66. CPU is only pulling 11 watts, so I think this is best case scenario. Interesting. So our GPU power limit is lower than I was expecting. I was expecting, I thought this was supposed to be able to boost up to about 80 watts was my understanding. And I would normally expect to see that kind of boost in a thing like Timespy. But we're not seeing that right now. Very interesting. What do you think about the Asus 15M versus the G14? Are you talking about last year's M15? I wouldn't really recommend it if that's what you're talking about. So yeah, I would recommend the G14 over that one. When do you think the newer laptops will be back in stock? The Asus Strix Scar, etc. Giovanni Tanzi, I'd expect them. My expectation right now is that based on all the news I've read and seen about all of the CPU shortages and GPU shortages, is that it's likely to get worse, not better. So sadly, I don't think we're going to see all of the best laptops come into stock and just be available to purchase again this year, probably. That's my guess right now. I don't expect it until 2022, probably. Maybe even 2023. Because when you get into a shortage like this, it just takes a long time to ramp up production again. Um, a huge part of the problem is definitely all the GPU miners. They're buying up all the gaming cards. So the so if cryptocurrency crashes, we may see a release of the shortage. So if cryptocurrency crashes next month, then hey, maybe the prices and availability will come back in stock and it'll be all better. But uh, it's going to take a pretty serious crash for it to happen. What's your main channel? Just Gizmo Slip is the main channel, Eric. Okay, so graphics score is 6477, CPU score 8832, let me go ahead and just put this sucker in to the overlay, and then we're going to average this with another run. Bench 2. So our GPU score, GPU score 6477, CPU score 8832. Cool. All right. And real quick, just want to pop into Armory, check on it. We're in turbo mode. Why are we in turbo mode? We should be in manual mode. I said it's manual. We're going to have to rerun the run. That may be related to why we weren't hitting 80 watts of power. So that run may be, that's going to be an invalid run for my comparison, but I'll just throw that in there for right now. Let's go ahead and run it again. I'm going to go ahead and take it out because I don't want to confuse anyone. Okay. Is the Scar 15 a good choice? Yeah, if you can get it. Yeah, Dev, I think the Scar 15 is a pretty great choice. I heard the Strix G17 performs worse than the Strix G15. Would it still be worth to buy the Strix G15? I don't know why you think that it doesn't, um, why it performs worse. It shouldn't perform worse. Those should perform very close. Check out my comparisons. I made several comparisons between the Strix and the Scar series, but it should, all of the Strix and Scar 15 and 17 laptops all should have the same power limits, roughly. For RTX 3070 and 3080 laptops, they all should have 115 to 130. What do you think about the new HP Omen and the Lenovo Legion? What is worth buying from these two? So I think the HP Omen 15Z is really super worth buying if you want something that's portable and light, more of a premium feeling laptop that has still really good performance. I think the Lenovo Legion 5 and 5 Pro is probably a great laptop to buy if you want to go for something that is really high performance per dollar because it's a bit thicker and it's going to have a higher TDP on the laptop's chassis. I think the Omen 15T, which is the Intel version of the Omen series, is also worth considering if you need a MUX switch because I think it's the cheapest laptop that has a MUX switch. So at least for the new RTX 3000 series. How well does the G14 perform in Fortnite DX12 low settings? Robert, we have not tested it yet. We will be testing that today, though. I've already installed Fortnite. The RTX 30 series got me so confused. Opinions on the MSI Raider G66? I think you're talking about the GE66. Aaron Pang, I think the GE66 is a great option, especially if you need a MUX switch and you want a premium metal build laptop. Not a bad choice at all. It's just I for Intel laptops right now, it's you just got to keep in mind that we will have more Intel laptops available. Um, oh, let me check this real quick. Yeah, okay, cool. Never mind. So just sorry, what I was trying to say is we will have new versions of Intel laptops coming out soonish. I don't know when exactly. I predict right now within a month we'll have the Intel 11th gen laptops. Um, so yeah, I just know that it's not. I don't know if they're coming out tomorrow, if they're coming out 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, but I'm predicting within the next 4 weeks we'll have the new 11th gen Intel. But I'm not expecting that much from them anyway. Maybe they'll surprise us, but like I'm expecting gaming benchmarks to maybe be slightly better than the Ryzen 5000. But for productivity and multitasking, I expect the Ryzen laptops still to be much better. Current predictions, not formal or well thought out at all, so don't overthink that. Benjamin Alvarez, what is a MUX switch? So I made a video talking about MUX switches and why they benefit you. Let me pull up the video link and I'll just link it to you so you can go check that out if you're interested. Because it's too complicated, but if I were to explain it in like one or two sentences, Basically, video signal is routed from the NVIDIA GPU to the integrated GPU to the laptop monitor display. This can cause a CPU bottleneck, reducing performance. When you have a mux switch, you bypass that CPU bottleneck. So um, it allows you to just maximize the performance in CPU-bound games. So that's a video that'll explain that in detail. Okay, so 6794. Timespy GPU, 6794. CPU is 90. Oh, right. Okay. 9019. So we got higher on the CPU. I'm not sure what we got on the GPU last time. I think it was pretty close to this. Okay, so 6794. And let me check real quick what I got last year for Timespy. I'm really curious. G14 Gizmo Slip Tech. Pretty sure I tested it. Ooh, loud. I hope you guys aren't hearing that. Let's see here. Benchmarks, boom. Okay. So last year's G14, I can share this screen. So you can see right here is my last year's graph. We got 5493 in the G14 last year. So not amazing. Well, not, sorry, let me rephrase. That's roughly a 1200 performance points increase. So if we calculate that up, 5493, wait, 1200 by 5493, that's a 22% increase in performance from last year's model to this year's model. Let's try running it again. I lost the chat here. Chat, I'm coming back. Okay, there we go. So 6444 with updated drivers on turbo. So I got 6794 is what I got. I think that's pretty good. For such a thin and light laptop, I mean, I think it certainly shows the difference that you get with a thicker, beefier system because a 3060 in a thicker chassis like the Gigabyte G5 that I have back there, that got 8,200 or so, right? So you're definitely getting more performance in a thicker laptop. But the G14 really isn't about getting the most performance. It's about getting the most portability while still maintaining a certain level of performance. So, yeah. Would the MSI GF75 3060 be a good choice? Chippy, I'm not sure. I have not reviewed that yet. I would try to look at other reviews before buying it. It's going to be a decent choice, probably. Nothing amazing. Um, Nothing amazing. I don't know. Let me take another look at it. Let me take another look at that. So GF75 thin, it's got a 6-core i7-10750H, so not the best CPU. I would ideally recommend getting an 8-core Intel if you get Intel. But it is only $14.99. Okay. It's a 3060 Max Q, so you're probably looking at performance similar-ish to this one, but in a much bigger chassis. You might get a bit more though, because you're probably gonna have a little higher TDP. Nice storage options, 512 gig SSD plus a 1 terabyte HDD. Yeah, I mean, the GF75 thin is all right. It's just all right. I don't know. That's the way I would that's the way I would talk about it. It's not going to be particularly standout good GPU or CPU. It's just going to be all right. I'd probably recommend other things over that, honestly. So, like, I would recommend the Omen 15Z over that. I would recommend like the Aorus 15G over that. A lot of different machines I'd recommend instead of that one, honestly. I think that's the thing. Like, you just looking at that laptop alone, I'm sure it'll play games great. It's not a bad laptop by any means, but when you compare it to what else is available, it just loses its luster to me. This G14 versus the Aorus 15G. So the G14 is going to be thinner, lighter, more portable. The Aorus 15G is going to give more performance for sure. So I would recommend the 15G for people that want more performance and they're willing to sacrifice more portability to get it. Same thing for the Zephyrus G15. Honestly, it's the same way. You spend at the same exact price point, you're going to get a higher TDP GPU, um, but it's a bigger, thicker machine with weighs more. So yeah, the main difference between the Aorus 15G and the Zephyrus G15 though is the mux switch. So you get a mux switch and you get Intel CPU with the Aorus. So yeah. How durable do you think the G14 is? I think it feels very durable to me, JPW, like in terms of the chassis case and the hinge and the keyboard and everything. It feels very high quality to me, JPW. Um, yeah, none of those things seem like a problem. The hinge, the screen wobble, the battery. No reason I would think to doubt that it's going to last. Um, but of course, any laptop can. There's always lemons here and there, but yeah. Okay, so now I got to average these. While I'm averaging these, oh, okay, I did not save that. Let's see. Can I go back here? Yeah, I can. I just want to get these installing. Get Port Royal installing. These only take a second to install. All right. So we got 6812. 6812 and plus 6794 divided by 2. That's not correct. Let's hear 6794 plus 6812 divided by 2. 6803 is our final score. And for our CPU, well, we scored 300. We scored 200 less this time, approximately. 8712 plus 90, 19 divided by 2. We got 8895. 96, actually. Okay, when you round up. Okay, pretty interesting results for Timespy. Let's go ahead and hop into Port Royal. Well, that installed already. Okay, did you get the version of the anime Matrix? No, I did not, Ant. Though that seems super cool. G14 last year was a tank, as well as my G15 this year. Great build quality. Yeah, on the chassis for the G14 and 15 seems like really, really good. Like I don't think you're gonna have any random things just break off or like keys pop out or something. They seem really well built. Um, I'm waiting for the better Ryzen CPU opportunity, but is the 5900HS a good CPU? Yeah, Jordan. This CPU is really, really good. Um, in the G14, the G15, and the CPU performance from the G14 and G15 is nearly identical. So if you're looking at like just pure CPU performance, the G14 is awesome. We're gonna run CPU Cinebench here coming up very soon. Um, but this G14 was actually scoring a little bit better than the Zephyrus G15. It was like hitting over 5,000 in Cinebench R20 last time in my unboxing video. So I'm looking for a laptop around $2,000. Any suggestions? So Snipes, one of the top ones you should consider would be the Omen 15Z with the Ryzen 5000 series. That's a really good option. Um, Aorus 15G with the RTX 3070 is a good option. The RTX 3080 is a good option. For the Aorus 15G, that's now been increased in price by a lot, which was kind of major facepalm. Um, you've got the Strix G17, the Zephyrus G15, the Strix G15. You got some SCAR 15 laptops with the RTX 3070. Um, the best way for you to find out which laptops around your price point for $2,000 is just to go look at my spreadsheet, and you'll be able to compare all the different models around your price point. So, while this is running, I can show you that real quick. Right here, this is the spreadsheet. This is linked in the video description down below. Feel free to go hop over there and take a gander, look through this. But these are my top recommended, and you can see around the $2,000 price point right there what they are. So, but that's going to be the best way to do that, rather than me just listing them off the top of my head. Uh, oh, did we lose? We lost. We lost juice. We lost juice, y'all. Oh, I ran out of battery. Well, hold on. There we go. All right, so we got 440, 49. All right. Let's run Fire Strike. The Strix G17 was my main choice, but holy, it's out of stock everywhere. Yeah, the Strix G17 has been out of stock like crazy town. It's from the moment it was announced till forever. So, yeah. Um, honestly, I'm surprised the Zephyrus G14 has remained in stock as well as it has, quite frankly. Yeah. I recently bought an Omen 15 with a 1660 Ti, i7 9th gen. Heat gets to 95 degrees on heavy gaming. Is that okay? Yeah, so I think getting your heat to 95 degrees is okay, but the downside is, uh, like it's okay in the sense that it's not going to destroy your laptop instantly. You're not going to like destroy your laptop because and the reason why you're not going to destroy it is the Intel CPU. I'm assuming you're talking about Intel, the Intel CPU in that. Um, the GPU should not get to 95. The GPU should stay under 90 degrees Celsius. If the GPU is going above 90, that's a problem. Because the GPUs are not made to go that high. The CPUs are designed to go up to 100 degrees Celsius. The new AMD CPUs are actually designed to safely go all the way up to 105 degrees Celsius. That said, higher temperatures are not great. And if you're hitting that thermal threshold, most manufacturers will hit, like if you hit 95 degrees, most manufacturers will thermal throttle at 90 or 95 or maybe 100. And every time you hit that thermal threshold, what's going to happen is the clock speed on your CPU or GPU is just going to go boom, it's going to drop down low. And if you're playing a game, you're going to hit a frame stutter. You're gonna get a hard jolting frame stutter in the game, and it's gonna be really annoying. So to prevent that, there's a few different things you can do. You can buy a laptop cooler. You can upgrade your so you can repaste your CPU and GPU if you're adventurous and you are willing to try that. Another option is you can power limit the CPU. So that usually involves reducing how high the CPU can boost. In this Asus laptop, for example, you can limit the power limit in the Armory crate in manual mode. You can reduce the power limit. In other laptops, if you have an Intel laptop like your Omen 15, then you can do that in Intel XTU is the application. You can power limit it that way, so that way you don't go up that high in the temperatures. Another way you can do it is by increasing your fan speed, so increasing how much air is moving through your machine. Um, does that help? I think those are the primary ways to deal with that. If you've done those things and you've power limited your CPU and GPU and you're still getting really bad temperatures, then you probably have really bad CPU paste or GPU paste, and you just have to either get that redone, hire someone to repaste it for you, like a professional. If you're not able to do that, you may be able to send it to the laptop manufacturer to get it done. It's just going to depend. Is it possible to undervolt? The new AMD 5000 series, new Ryzen 5000 laptop CPUs does not undervolt at all, to my knowledge. You can only power limit them. That's the main thing. Another thing I saw some people do last year on this laptop was so Firestrike, we got 178021. Let's see here, Firestrike. All right, so I don't even put this in here usually, but let's just go ahead and put this in here. Let's just do Firestrike 17.8.21 GPU 24.436 CPU. Okay, now we gotta run our Ultra Firestrike Ultra. Very nice. Um, but yeah, so your options are more limited on the Ryzen side because you can't undervolt, to my knowledge. I don't even know how much it would help you, quite frankly. With Intel CPUs, the thing is they run really hot and they overdo the electricity to the CPU to make sure it's stable, and that's why you're able to undervolt it and get more performance out of it because you can basically tailor your machine to be stable at the very specific point at which you get stability. Um, but yeah, we'll see. I wonder if the new 11th gen Intel will be good for undervolting. Now, another thing you can do as well is undervolt your GPU. Um, and that'll also reduce your temperatures a lot. So if your GPU is hitting really high temperatures, undervolting it using MSI Afterburner with the voltage curve will help you a lot. Um, it may not improve your performance very much undervolting, but it will improve your temperatures. That's the main thing there. Artonian says, "Hey Gizmo, first time I've caught you live, 2:44 a.m. here. Hey, thanks for tuning in. So middle of the night. Love your spreadsheet. I'm actually in the market for a gaming laptop right now. Cool, man. Well, welcome to the stream. What about FPS capping games to like 60? So Seth, that can help too. Yeah, if you cap the game, like if you only need 60 FPS, say you're playing The Witcher 3, and you don't need to have 140 FPS or 100 over 100, you can just cap it to 60 or to 30, and it'll put a lot less demand on your CPU and GPU to be able to render the frames. So that's another option. Um, and that can also be a good tool to reduce fan noise too, if you want to minimize the fan noise that you have. This versus the MSI Stealth 15M. Vishnu, I would definitely get this over the MSI Stealth 15M because you have an 8-core CPU in this versus, I believe, a 4-core 11th gen in the Stealth 15M. But I think that just came in stock today, didn't it? I think I added that. Yeah, this one has an i7 4-core Intel 11th gen. That's just not worth it to me over this one, especially not for $100 more. Best gaming laptop for around $2,800. Aaron Pang, my choice would be the Scar 17 or perhaps the MSI GE76 or the Alienware M17R4. Those would probably be the three I would choose between probably for around that $2,800 mark. The fastest one should be the GE76 or the Alienware M17R4. Probably the Alienware has slightly higher GPU TDP. From what I've seen, the GE76 is 150 to 155. The Alienware M17R4 is 150 to 165. So you have 10 more watts of boost power for the Alienware. Right now, that should be the most powerful gaming laptop that money can buy. But you're going to get, hopefully we'll see some more big fat chunkers coming out eventually. Is an Alienware M17 R4 3080 1080p 360 hertz laptop good for gaming and video editing? Yeah, it's gonna be great for gaming. Video editing, it will depend on what application you're using. Okay, Fire Strike Ultra. We got 4227. 4227. CPU 24315. All right. We are ready to move on to Cinebench. Cinebench R20. Dun 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 dun. Okay, for this one, we're also going to want to load up. Whoops, I closed it. Yeah, we got HW info here. We'll put that up here as well. We all like to see what we're getting ourselves into here for our clock speeds and everything. So we're hitting 3.9 gigahertz across all cores right now in Cinebench R20, 3.89, 3.92. So that was basically 4 gigahertz, 3.9, 3.9, 3.94, 3.9, 3.89. So we're just averaging 3.9, at least for this initial period. Our temperatures are 82 degrees Celsius for our initial boost. And we're pulling 65 watts of consistent power. That's pretty awesome. 65, we're getting up to 85 degrees Celsius now. See if this creeps up. We'll be able to really tell the CPU and temperatures and the clock speeds better in Cinebench R23. So as soon as this is done, I'm going to start the next run. 4840. That's a little lower than we were getting. I think we were getting over 5,000 during the unboxing. Are you running fans at 100%? Yes, Gato. I always test with fans at 100% for every laptop. Is the difference between a 95 watt TDP and a 130 watt TDP for a 3060 really that big? It's gonna be noticeable, probably at least 10 to 15%, Scott. At least around that mark. To give you a reference for that, this laptop has a 65 watts, and we got 6,800 in Timespy GPU score. The Gigabyte G5 of the 3060, that's 105 watts, so 40 more watts. We got 8,200. So that extra 40 watts of power to the GPU boosted our score by a solid chunk. So 4968. There, that's a bit better. Gato Paint, I do not change the priority in the task manager for any of the laptops. That way it's fair for all of them. But if you want to artificially increase your scores, you can set it to like real-time priority. And it'll probably lock your computer up until the test is done, but it'll probably be slightly higher. Does the G14 benefit from FreeSync when hooked up to a monitor, or does it have to be G-Sync? Alligator, let's make it unfair. Kind of. That's funny. Um, I believe it should work through G-Sync. Anytime it would work normally when plugged into a NVIDIA GPU, going through the USB-C port, you should be able to get FreeSync or G-Sync to work, I think. I'm not an expert on G-Sync and FreeSync compatibility with monitors, though, so I don't want to steer you the wrong direction on that front. So I would encourage you to do more research on your own. I'm not going to be able to answer that question definitively for you. Do you play Roblox? I do not, Zishan. I do not. I will be using DaVinci Resolve for video editing. Is that a good software to use? Yes, I use DaVinci Resolve Legend. It is my software of choice, and it works really well on my Ryzen 9 5900HX and RTX 3080 laptop on my Scar 15. The main reason why it's a really good one is that I believe it's more optimized to work smoothly than Adobe Premiere Pro. Um, Premiere Pro did not run as smoothly as DaVinci Resolve on my Scar 15. Okay, so we're going to start tracking our results now. 4976. Let's go ahead and put that in for our first result. And yeah, that is a little higher than the Zephyrus G15. I think this is, what was it, 4956? 4956, I think. I'm going to double check though in the live stream. 4976. Any hype for the Legion 7? Yeah, man, I'm hyped. I think it's going to be a really cool laptop. Really high performance, good for the money. It's just not available in the US market yet. Resolve is GPU accelerated, yes. Um, yeah, that's the main difference, Gato. DaVinci Resolve allows you to utilize the NVIDIA GPU or the CPU when you're rendering or just using the timeline. So I've seen noticeably better performance for in Resolve for rendering stuff. And just editing on the timeline is also just better. All right, 4927, a bit lower this time. 4927 for our second run. So what I do for this Cinebench R20 is I average 5 runs together for my Cinebench R20 numbers. This allows me to get a good idea of the consistent performance when throttled. Alligator XX3 with the super chat donation and the love emoji. All right, thanks. Uh, yes. Yo, 137 people watching and only 53 likes. Come on, people. Kempachi. LOL. 81 likes. Okay, that's a little bit better. We got 81 on my screen. But yeah, if you guys do want to drop a like, it does help the algorithm. More people discover my content. 4960. 4960. So if you guys want to drop a like, it'll help me out a little bit. Appreciate it, but not a big deal. I would probably go for the Razer Blade Base 2021. Overkill James. Um, yeah, that's not a bad option, especially if you get the QHD display version of that. I really like the QHD version of the Razer Blade Base. I was actually like more attracted to that one because it had the QHD than some of the more advanced models that only had 1080p. RTX 4000 Super Max Q Ultra Max. Sure. We'll say that, I guess. Okay, for our fourth run, what do we get? 4975. So we're hitting really consistently right around this 4960-ish mark. A little bit up and down from it. Would you recommend the Acer Predator Triton for $1,400, Alejandro? Not really. When you can get the Zephyrus G14 instead, because the G14 has an 8-core CPU versus only a 4-core in the Triton. So it depends on what you want to do with it, though. That I'm sure it's a great laptop in a lot of ways, but I think you're going to get better performance out of the Zephyrus G14. For sure in multi-core CPU stuff. Okay, our last result is 4967. Okay, cool. Cool beans. Well, let's also just quickly check again what we're hitting for our CPUs. We're hitting right around 3.9 during this run. You can see 3.9, 3.9, 3.89. 3.91. All right, and then we're just consistently hitting that. 3.918, so actually 3.2, and then 65 watts of power. Yeah, 65 watts of power, basically exactly, which is heckin' impressive. Okay, so on to Cinebench R23, the Big Mama Jama. I just realized I had Steam open during that. I'll have to rerun those Cinebench R20s. But I will do that on my own time. I don't want to waste your guys' time on that. I expect it did not make much of a difference at all. But yeah, I'm gonna have to retest that. I'm saving up for the new laptop. I don't know what to get because I really want the new M1X 14-inch and the new Legion 7, but I don't really play any graphics demanding games, but I would like to have the power. Yeah, overkill, James. The extra power you get from the new hardware is just, it's nice. Like if you plan on keeping the laptop for 5 years, having the extra power means 2 years from now when you want to play the games, you can still play the games. You know, you can still fire it up and have fun. Have you ran into any QC issues with your model yet? Wind Killer, I just have a creak in my SCAR 15. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about the Zephyrus G15? Or G14, I mean. I have not had any quality issues with the G14. My SCAR 15 has a creak on the left side of the chassis. I've been trying to figure out how to fix it. It's been a process. Does this thing blow hot air on your mouse hand like previous year? Yes, but it's not that hot right now, at least. What's the GTG on the monitor? Should I look at an external monitor if I want to play esports titles? Starlight, I would recommend an external monitor if you want to boost your performance in whatever esports titles you're playing. Maybe you'll be happy with the performance you get, though. Depends on the game, probably. When I see the interior of a gaming laptop, uh, I kind of get intimidated. Um, yeah, you'll get less intimidated as you. I think that's what you're saying anyway. You'll get less intimidated as you get more experience taking laptops apart. Is it super loud or just loud? Overkill James is definitely a very loud laptop fan, but I have it on maximum fans right now. Yeah, it's definitely. I would say it's the loudest laptop fan that I've tested out of the Asus laptops, but that's just my guess, and it makes sense. How's the temperature going? Let's check. All right, so let me go ahead and just refresh this and we get our nice averages. So we're averaging 91 degrees Celsius right now, but we're not thermal throttling because if we were thermal throttling, we would be dropping our wattage down lower than 65, and we're just hitting 64.8 right now, so basically exactly 65. We're averaging for our CPU clock speed 3.86. I'm going to tilt this back just a little bit more to a realistic angle as well, because this does have the ergo lift. So when you run the laptop on a table or desk, you definitely want to tilt the laptop back enough to bring the vents up, off the table so you get more airflow. Can you put a charging cap up to 80 or 60% on your Razer laptop? Cinna, I don't think so. I don't think you can do that for the battery, unless you use a third-party application. All right, let's continue. Let's check this again. So we're averaging right now 64.3 watts of power to the CPU, 91.5 degrees Celsius on the CPU. So again, no thermal throttling so far seen at all yet. But we're on the edge. I'm pretty sure that we would thermal throttle if if it pushed a few degrees higher. Do you advise against using uneven amounts of RAM sticks? Mush, I'm not an expert when it comes to RAM. I am not sure how that would affect your performance. Um, I'm actually really curious about doing some tests though. If I find the time, I'll probably change, or I'll probably swap the 32 gig stick in my SCAR 15 and put it in the Zephyrus G15 to see how it affects performance, because then it would be very lopsided. It would be a 32 gig stick and an 8 gig stick. Um, for sure, it wouldn't be dual channel for the RAM above 16 gigs. So um, if you need more than 16 gigs of RAM, my recommendation is just to buy the 32 gigs right off the bat, because then you'll have dual channel for the whole time. Say Sean, this is a nice stream. I have to go. All right, say Sean, have a good one. Bye, guys. I love you all. Awesome. I would go for the base because the value you're getting is really good. Are you talking? Yeah. So far, would you suggest this laptop or the Razer Blade Base 15 with the 3060? That's an interesting comparison. What's the price difference, Nev? You have to give me the actual stats on everything. Um, in general, I'd probably pick this, but I would need to see the price and the stats spec, which unit in particular you're looking at for the Razer. Um, I'm sure Razer will eventually, I would think, at least launch a Ryzen-based version of their laptops, and if they do, that's when I would definitely more seriously consider the Razer. Nerdy Dan. Hee hee, y'all are real smart people, I must admit. Nerdy, are you making fun of us? Okay, not cool, dude. Not cool. Bullying is not allowed. How do I ban this guy? This Nerdy Dan. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. The Nerdy's a OG moderator from back when I was doing streaming gameplay mainly. So I'm just giving him a hard time for all of you people that don't know who he is. I would consider Nerdy a friend though. He's more than just a moderator for me. He's a friend, okay? You hear that, nerd? You've got a special place in my heart now, not just as a moderator anymore. Are are we what Dave 2D calls sweaty laptop nerds? I suppose we probably are. What's a good laptop for mainly playing Warzone? So, Salvatore Poggi, my recommendation, if you're just looking for Warzone gameplay, you want to get at least a medium-sized laptop with a mux switch um, for ideal performance, and then you want to have a good TDP on the GPU as well. So, arguably the probably the very best frame rate you'll see out of any laptop is probably the Alienware M17R4 with the 3080. There's cheaper versions of the laptop that will give you really good performance as well. You don't have a mux switch in the Alienware, but you do have direct connection if you get a 300 or 360 hertz display. Now, another a great option that's more moderately priced as well is the MSI GE66 and 76. But those, I guess, they're moderately priced, close to the $2,200–$2,300 price point for the 3070 versions. But those have a mux switch, and they're great overall machines as well. So those will perform really well in Warzone. Um, the Aorus 15G, another great option for Warzone because it has a mux switch, though it's a lower TDP, more portable version. Zephyrus G15 versus MSI GS66. So Eban, the main differences with those, I mean, there's a lot of differences actually between those. The Zephyrus has a QHD display. I really, really like that. Um, the GS66 has a mux switch. So if you play CPU-bound games, the GS66 has that mux switch for your performance. The Zephyrus has a Ryzen processor, which I really like for multi-core performance, and the thermals are just a lot better. And then overall for build quality and my overall experience using both of them, they're both great laptops. Um, it's just the Zephyrus G15 was also $600 cheaper, right? So at this for the same rough comparable specs. So that's where I gotta lean heavily towards recommending the Zephyrus G15 if you can get it. But it's sold out hardcore right now. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and take a detailed look here. We're on the last run. So we got 91.8 degrees Celsius. We never thermal throttled, and we averaged for our CPU package power 64.2. Dang. That is very impressive. We also got 3.87. So let me just put some of these numbers in here while I can. Okay, so 3.87, 91.8 degrees Celsius, and 64.2 watts of power. Okay, and then for our score, what do we get? 12,673. That's impressive, all right? That's heckin' impressive. Let's get the single core going. This is gonna take a while, folks. Um, yeah, what questions y'all got? We'll get into some more game benchmarks once this is done. I think this is the last synthetic test we do. Then we're gonna whip out a bunch of games. Gizmo, I have a question. Is it all right if I just decrease the maximum power on my rate on my laptop to get low temperatures on the CPU? Thanks. So, Francis, yeah, you can. You can do that, and you can increase the longevity of the laptop maybe a little bit by power limiting it. Basically, using Intel XTU or in these Asus laptops, you can use the Armory crate to power limit the CPU in manual mode. Should I get the Strix 15 or put some money away and get the Scar 15 latest model? Ayesha Patel, if you're on a budget, I think the Strix G15 is probably the way to go. Um, if you got a lot of extra money, the Scar 15 has some really awesome premium features. So, but either way, either of those laptops are really hard to buy right now. So you I mean, you could try getting the Strix G15. Um, and then if you can't get it, once you have enough money for the Scar 15, you can get that instead if you find that in stock. So, because ultimately, I think you're gonna have a hard time buying either one. I bought a 10 600K. Nice. Congratulations, potato. So Francis, where did you set that? You set it to 80% instead of 100%. I'm not sure. I've never seen a CPU power slider like that. Is that in the Windows power settings in the advanced settings? Is that where you're talking? I am literally watching you on this laptop. Here's hoping I made a good purchase. Michael Janiga. I mean, this is clearly a good laptop, right? Like I'm not knocking this laptop for what it is. Like if you want something that's portable and has a lot of power, this is one of the few options out there that is truly, truly excellent, I think. Um, because you're getting a lot of watts to the CPU, you're getting a decent amount of watts to the GPU. You're gonna be able to play a lot of games just fine. Um, the one like the main group of people that I would advise against buying this is going to be people who are just like really hardcore competitive gamers and they want a really high response rate display and they want really high performance components per dollar, right? This is a thinner, lighter laptop, so you're sacrificing some of those higher performance components to get this thin of a laptop. I wish this G14 3060 laptop came in all gray. Color scheme is crappy for this one. I don't know, man. I really like this color scheme. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm a sucker for silver and black things, I guess. Um, Artor Sylvia. It's a shame. Yeah, it's a freaking shame for that Mux switch. Yeah. How would you compare this year's G14 versus last year's? So Salvatore Poggi, I compared the Timespy scores. This one is 22% faster for their Timespy score, at least roughly right around that point. So um, pretty noticeable increase for Timespy. And then we're also getting a noticeable increase for our CPU as well. I think we had around 4,300 last year. I have to double check. Do I still have the video? I don't have the video open anymore, but yeah, we're getting a noticeable bump for CPU and GPU performance this year. Also, I just realized I'm tilted. Oh yeah, I am tilted that. But let me tilt. Let me go up. There we go, and we'll go down. Huzzah! There, and we're gonna have to refocus. Cool. Now we are also going to zoom in just a little bit. Oh yeah. So right now we're doing our single core test for Cinebench R23, and then we're going to load into a whole bunch of games. Um, did they fix the backlighting? Not really, JPW. Um, in my opinion, at least, the backlighting is still very similar. Um, in a brightly lit environment, you're going to want to turn the backlight off so you can more easily see the keys. And then in a darker environment, the backlighting is awesome, same as last year. How does a mobile 3060 compare to a desktop RX 5600 XT? I don't know for the RX 5600 XT. The RTX 2060 desktop, though, let's go ahead and I can take a look at that. Let me, instead of have you guys watch paint dry, we'll do some investigation here. RTX 2060 notebook check on that. Okay. So this will be should be able to pull up the 2060 mobile versus laptop here. Do, 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 do. I think they had. Is this? Here's the 2060. Can I add a different one? So this is a tool you can use to compare different GPUs. So Notebook Check has a website. This is what I used to use a lot before I have all of my own data to base it off of. But a 2060 desktop, same memory bus width, just higher boost clock because we have more power limit, higher power limit. Fire strike. Interesting. Okay. If I want to just go to just this desktop, I just want to go to this page. They have a page. Why is it? Sometimes this website can be really funky. Comparison of GPUs. I'm trying to find the desktop 2060 so I can compare this for you. But it looks like they don't have the desktop 2060 in this list at all anymore. Yeah, okay, well. Either way, it appears that the 2060 Max Q, all right, the 2060 Max Q from the Zephyrus G14 to the 3060 Max Q for the Zephyrus G14, 22% increase in Timespy score. That's pretty notable. So there is a difference. But I mean, it's not massive. It's not like a 50% jump like it is in the desktops, going from a 2060 to a 3060. At least I think it's a pretty big difference. Nerdy Dan, could you recommend me an anime out of all the ones that you have seen? Which one is your favorite? I want to know and I want to watch it. Oh, which one is my favorite? Oh, that's a tough, dude. That's a tough question. Um, I would point you towards Hunter x Hunter being an excellent anime as a basic. It's like a it appears to be a super kid-friendly anime when you start out with, and then you get into the end game story, and it becomes super violent and mature and dark, which is super weird because the kids it kind of has like the character design of a younger character design. So Hunter x Hunter is freaking awesome, and then Attack on Titan is one of my top ones. Um, oh, so here's a good one. My favorite one from this year, Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen. Yes. Okay. This is Nerdy Dan. Here's one for you to watch. That's the one I'd recommend for you to watch. If I were to recommend any one anime right now to watch, that's it. So that's my favorite one so far in a long time. Demon Slayer, also a great one. Yeah. You're on episode 16 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Nice. Already watching it. Okay. Man, yeah, I love Jujutsu Kaisen. It's one of my favorite new animes. But if you haven't seen Attack on Titan, I would say I would say to finish that out because they're finishing that up this year, later this year. Okay. Last year was garbage key lighting, at least on my model. I mean, I think the lighting looks good on here. Looks very consistent, except for maybe the enter and shift keys, print screen and control. Most of the keys are lit pretty well, but it looks like I mean, it looks very similar to last year's lighting, honestly. In a darker environment, it'll look really good. In a lighter environment, it's going to be harder to see the key brightness. Do you like laptops with crazy RGB lighting, like on the back, front, keyboard, and the sides? Yeah, I love RGB lighting. That's why one of the reasons why I really like this G14. Any concerns with the vents blowing up towards the screen on this or the G15? GF, I'm not that worried about it. I think Asus would have engineered it to be good. I hope the second half of Attack on Titan is not delayed until winter 2022, but I have read all of the manga for Attack on Titan except for the latest, like one or two releases. So it's like at the very end of the manga, and it's good. It's ending pretty interesting. It's a very interesting ending at least. So I'm and I can tell it's going to be really hard to animate that thing. Um, there's a lot of crazy movement and animation required for the next season of its like the second half of Attack on Titan last season. So I can understand why they would delay it that long. Will I be testing the response time because I know last year's model was not that good. So Patrick Leary, I did check out Warzone earlier on. Um, you can go look at that gameplay. Just go back to about 5 o'clock, so about an hour and 20 minutes ago in the live stream. I was testing Warzone around then, and you can see there is some ghosting in this display, without a doubt. I don't think I can recommend this laptop to super competitive players for that reason. So, at least if you want to do competitive gaming on the laptop display itself. Brian Smith, I've got this laptop typing from it right now. I haven't quite figured out what to do with the AMD Radeon software. Do you use it at all? If so, for what for? Armory Crate seems more handy. So the Radeon software, the only thing I did with that was I used it to increase the contrast on my display a little bit. Um, you can adjust the color of your laptop with that. But yeah, you're pretty much not going to be doing anything with that Radeon software, but you need to have it installed because basically for certain video codecs on your laptop or on whatever machine you're using, it's going to use the integrated GPU to process the video codec. So if you have like H.265 video, which my camera records in H.265, if you want to be able to play those videos at all, you have to have the AMD Radeon driver up to date or at least installed. Um, Otherwise, it just literally just can't even play the codec at all. So if you find yourself not being able to play the video codec, that's why. You probably need to update your drivers, or maybe you need to download the H.265 codec off the internet. Why do AMD mobile processors exceed in benchmarks but suffer in gaming? So HQ leaks. A huge part of that is the MUX switch. Um, a lot of these new AMD laptops don't have a MUX switch, so they're utilizing the uh, integrated GPU so they can use FreeSync. And because they're using the integrated GPU and not using a MUX switch, basically we're getting a CPU bottleneck. So the reduction in performance is primarily around the fact that we don't have that MUX switch from NVIDIA Optimus basically causing that bottleneck. Because the performance increases dramatically when you utilize an external monitor. Does this have a RAM stick that's soldered? Yes, it does. It's 1 gig. One stick is upgradable, one stick is soldered. I did take the laptop apart during my unboxing. Okay, Nerdy Dan, I have recently started watching One Piece. Just on episode 12, I think. I recently finished Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, so I'm starting on another big anime. Um, yeah, I've watched probably I think 70 episodes of One Piece or something like that. It just did not draw me in. I couldn't get super, I don't know. Just not for me, I don't think. HQ leaks, but if you turn off Optimus, it'll be fine. So HQ leaks, the thing is you cannot disable Optimus. That's what a MUX switch does. A MUX switch allows you to turn NVIDIA Optimus off and directly connect to the NVIDIA GPU to the internal laptop display. Um, so let's see, I think I linked to it earlier in the live stream. I need to just get a how Nerdy Dan, how do I create a comment like where you can do like an exclamation point command and then it shares a link to a video? Because I really want to be able to just link to this video every time someone asks about a MUX switch and be like, oh, just do exclamation MUX to link to the video that explains it. Overkill, James. One Piece starts slow, but you just got to get through the boring episodes. Makes sense. My doggos are barking at something. Hero, come here. What's that? MUX, yeah. So yeah, so in terms of bypassing the MUX switch on this laptop, if you want to do it, the key is definitely hooking up to an external monitor um, through the USB-C port. You have to hook it up to a display out that is directly tied to the NVIDIA GPU. All right, so we're almost done with our single core score, and we can hop into some more game benchmarks, which I think are just way more fun than the Cinebench. I'm really tempted just not do the R23 single core score because it takes like 25 minutes to do this thing. Nerdy Dan, that's the link. Yeah, but it's MUX, not MUC for the Mux switch. Okay, so we got 1468. That's a pretty great single core score. 1468. That's actually really incredible. Right up there with the best. Okay, let's get into some more games. Right? All right. I'm going to lower this down just a little bit now that I can. Cool. I'm going to tilt this guy up a little bit. It's game time. MUX. Not MUC, nerdy. MUX. Oh, nerdy just embarrassed himself. Oh my god. I'm just giving you a hard time. End of the world. I was trying to tell you MUX. You must not be listening to my voice. It's all good. Jeff Newland. Electronics has AMD with a Mux too, and they're around Asus just cheaped out. Yeah, well, I think the other downside when you use a Mux switch is you lose FreeSync support on the internal display. So that's the same thing's true with the electronics laptop. So that's also something to keep in mind is that if you want a tear-free, perfect gaming experience, you gotta keep that in mind. A lot of people don't think about that, but that's I think an equally important or close, not equally important, but in some games equally important addition to the experience, so the game looks better. Okay, I think we're good there. We gotta go to game and enable developer console. Cool. Okay. Workshop with maps. Okay, here we go. Boom, go, go. Cool. Looks like it works. Nerdy Dan, perfect execution, my friend. Fatih Marcos, I just got the GE76 3070 and tested Fortnite Creative, and it gave me 220 FPS with Optimus and 600 with the dedicated GPU. Didn't know it made that much of a difference. LOL. Um, that's the biggest difference I've seen, aside from maybe CS:GO. Fortnite is a pretty big increase to performance. Okay, here we go. We are pushing 300, 400 FPS. 300, 360, 380, 390. It's too small to read on the display, so I'm just kind of reading it out. 350, 320, 280, 260, 250. Yeah, if you're going for esports games, the Mux Switch is where you'll see the biggest performance improvements. Or really, it's just CPU bound games. It's just that esports games tend to be super CPU bound because they're very GPU optimized. So if we got down to about 57 FPS there, 250, 250, 260. Nerdy, did you see my message on Discord that we should play Elite Dangerous together? I'm looking for some people to play Elite Dangerous with. Elite Dangerous is. I've had such a good time playing that lately. I just want to find some friends to play it with. But it is my favorite VR game right now. I've been playing that for several hours a day. It's just so immersive. Everything is like very compatible with VR. Like all the text is designed to be viewable in VR. The controls, the immersion, the cockpit. It's just great. All right, so 252 FPS. 252 FPS. CS:GO. CS:GO 252. Cool. On to the next one. Cyberpunk 2077. Let's do this. Do you play Tarkov? I don't. I tried to buy it and then I was like, wait, you have to use a third party application or something like that to buy it. I was like, this is janky system for purchasing it. So I ended up not purchasing it. But I've heard good things. It seemed like a game that I'd be interested in. All right, play. The test is flawed. FPS in CS:GO will be lower on average in most maps. Um, interesting. So CS:GO, the main reason art why I think the main reason art why I like that test is because it'll allow me to do everything really consistently. It may not be perfectly representative of all the maps though. Very few benchmarks are perfectly representative of all of the different areas of a game or places within a game. Nerdy Dan, if you're downloading the Elite Dangerous, you got to try out you got to start learning how to fly. And I would encourage you to look up the FPS controls, first person shooter controls for Elite Dangerous. So that way you remap the keys to be easier to control, more natural for someone that plays in FPS. Do do do. Okay, we're loaded in. Let's go make sure our settings are correct. Video, full screen, 1080. Graphics. I think we should already be set on. RTX on ultra, set to quality. I better just make sure this is all set to the preset of ray tracing ultra, and this to quality. Cool. Looks great. All right, let's go ahead and load into the car. Okay, so in an actual game here, we're boosting to 65 watts of GPU power. The CPU is pulling 18 watts of power. We're averaging 44 FPS right now with RTX on Ultra, DLSS on Quality. That said, this does not represent all the areas of the game. You're probably going to see a little lower FPS in some other areas of the game. So you'll probably want to reduce the settings a bit more from my experience in Cyberpunk. Unless you're okay with just a little bit of stutters here and there, but I personally prefer to have perfectly fluid gameplay experience throughout. So it's just that I do this test because it's very consistent, allows me to consistently test the laptops. Okay, so 4234. And then let's also load into another area of the map. I'll just play, because I know some people will want to see me play. Some other sections. I think this is the one. Cool. 4234. Cancel. I loaded the wrong thing. All right. Oh, I didn't do the RTX off. True. Okay. RTX, DLSS, Ultra, DLSS quality, Full HD 4234. Okay. And I should go back and load in there too. You didn't even notice me. I just jumped. Okay. Let's see what our average is while we're playing this section of the game as well. Time to do the murder. They don't stand a chance. The game developers are like, watch our physics system with the walls just disappearing. And then you never see it again for the rest of the game. So we got 47 FPS through that section. We actually had better FPS than that than we did in our car test. So that goes to show you that the car test is, it's like a middle area. You'll get better FPS in some areas and worse in others. I've hunted puffins before. Flying is my thing, dude. What? You hunt puffins from a plane? Am I going to start testing laptops for VR games? Um, maybe every now and then. Are you going to do the flight simulator test? Yeah, Art, I will. I don't expect. Oh, I messed that up. I didn't change the settings. I don't expect very high FPS in this. Probably only like 25 to 30-ish range. Because I run everything on ultra settings in a complex part of the world. So you're just not going to see that high of FPS because it's not a very optimized game. Okay, and so we are going to try. The other test I need to do here is RTX and DLSS off. 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 Okay. All right, so RTX and DLSS off. Interesting. Wait, really? We're getting more? Okay, I'm gonna have to RTX and DLSS off, everything else the same. Okay, yep. I'm gonna have to reload it again. I doubted the result. I'm like, FPS is going up. Usually the FPS goes up when I turn RTX and DLSS on, interestingly enough, but this time it's going up by turning it off. That's cool. All right. Let's see what we get. NASA can't even get 60 FPS on a flight simulator. Fetid Marcos, is there any way to check the screen response time? I do not have the tools to check it. I know Jared's tech. Jared does have the tools to check it. I don't know if he's doing a review on the G14 though. So good luck figuring it out. I'm guessing if I were to guess, I would guess this has like around a 10 to 15 ms response time. Not terrible, not great. But that's just me guessing, so can't really rely on that. Like it seems a bit better than last year's. Last year's I think had around a 20 to 25 ms response time. So we got 50 to 38. Okay. 50 to 38. All right, next game. Terry Williams, just want to say thanks. I have watched a majority of your videos. I knew diddly about gaming laptops. Now I know enough to be dangerous. I appreciate the education. We'll be getting one soon. Congrats, Terry. Great, man. I hope you get something awesome. I will say right now as well that the prices seem to be spiking on laptops. So if you're going to buy them, I'd recommend buying it soon because I think the value of the laptops are just about to go up, which kind of sucks. Like the Aorus 15G price went up $300 today. Okay. HQ leaks. Okay, fill me in. Does Mux Switch allow to disable Optimus? Because I'm confused. Yes. Basically, HQ leaks, you restart the machine with a Mux Switch and it turns off Optimus. And it allows the NVIDIA GPU to direct connect to the display. That's what the Mux Switch does. It requires a restart. Alexander Acosta. Wait, do you have to restart the game after disabling RTX? No, you do not. You do not have to disable it. It's a noticeable change, switching between RTX and on and off, even just on the fly. Nerdy Dan, just buy them all and resell them. Easy. Right? Right? Easy money. Yeah, it doesn't quite work that way. But but yeah, okay, so for there we turn motion blur off. Everything else should be set to ultra, off. Okay. And we gotta make sure 1080p, 144, full screen, and the render scale is set to 1. Ivan R2 said, is it okay that hot air blowing onto the screen? Yeah, I think it's okay, Ivan. I think Asus will have designed the laptop to survive that. Matt Faust, how many laptops are stacked in your house? I've got about 8 laptops in my house right now. Artoni. Trying to make sure I didn't miss any questions. Artonian, esports games performance has to be great thanks to the Mux. Oh yeah, you're gonna talk to him. Yeah, it's true. Right now I have the laptops. I have 2 laptops on that table. Laptop here, laptop here, laptop there. Couple laptops under the end table. It's a interesting blend. Okay, look at this. Not bad. 91 FPS. This is the Zephyrus G14 got 93, so this is putting up basically the same numbers, and it makes sense because it's a CPU-bound game with similar memory. So 90, 94 FPS. Let's run it one more time. Let's run it back. I'll try to capture the 1% lows as well. What's the best laptop on the market? That all just depends on your price point, Ace Man. Because there's different. I think there's different levels of best laptop. I think the best laptop is probably the Alienware M17R4, probably. If you're looking to compare the top laptops, I have a list. I think it's between the Alienware M17R4 and the MSI GE76 for the most powerful right now. Maybe the Electronics Prometheus laptop that's also up there. So no closet, they're just scattered around. Real nice. By the way, I wonder how many companies make names for their monitors. Yeah, it would be cool if they actually had like monitor names, like series names, you know? Kind of like you know, like the Strix lineup or whatever, but for monitors. Be easier to keep track of all the models out there. Okay, 94, 9475, right? 75, yep. Okay. So Far Cry 5. 9475. Not bad, not bad. That's actually 1 FPS better than the G15. Okay. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Let's do this. I have 71 hours playing Microsoft Flight Simulator because downloading it takes 8 hours. So almost all those hours of running this thing is just downloading it on all the different laptops. That's hilarious. My SCAR 15 reached 115 watts on the GPU, 80 watts on GPU without thermal throttling, but at like 97 C. I'm guessing you meant 80 watts on the CPU? Because that would get really hot. if you're running the CPU and GPU at the same at 80 watts. Okay, Alex Vallejo, waiting for Samsung to come out with a gaming laptop again. They have the best monitors. So Alex, a lot of these laptops do have Samsung monitors in them. Some of them do at least. So just know that just because it's not a Samsung laptop doesn't mean it doesn't have a Samsung display. But yeah, there's a lot of really great displays out there, quite frankly, on laptops these days, especially the new QHD ones and the Asus laptops. 165 hertz 15-inch ones, like on the Strix Scar 15. Man, it's pretty solid. Pretty solid QHD displays. Art with the $10 super chat. I like your emoji, man. It's like the superpower superhero. Thanks, man. Appreciate the $10. That's like dinner. All right. I'll treat myself to some Dairy Queen with that money. All right. Nerdy Dan. So I'm finally worth being called a gamer. By the way, Gizmo, I'm actually playing on 144 hertz now, 2K resolution. Nice. That's a big upgrade. Ace Man, I got a Zephyrus G14. Should I trade it for a Strix? They're the same price at Best Buy. I just want to use it for gaming. Um, Ace Man, I think it just comes down to if you want to go for performance per dollar, or if you want to go for a better blend of like portability meets performance. That's kind of what the Zephyrus G15 is. Okay. So we go to, oh, we got to go to our options first. Kind of lagged out there for a moment. Make sure that we're all set to ultra settings. I think the only reason why Flight Simulator has gotten away with such horrible optimization is because they basically, what am I trying to say? The game doesn't need like 100 FPS to run well. Like you're just doing a simulation, so it's like it's almost like you're watching a movie. So all you really need is around 30 FPS for the game to feel like reasonably smooth. Like even though we may only get 30 FPS in this game, it's still gonna like be playable. You know, and with a lot of other games, if you got 30 FPS, you'd be like, this is terrible. I can't even move or aim. But you're not really aiming in this game. You're just turning up the throttle and slowly turning around a corner. It's not exactly a action-packed adventure sequence. Clear skies, 8 p.m. Taking off from PDX. This is how I run this test every time. Here we go. How much wattage would you recommend for the CPU on manual mode on the Scar 15? So I just turned it all the way up, Gato, because it'll power limit throttle if the GPU is under load down to 54 watts. At least for me, is it not throttling? Is it going all the way up to 80 for you when the GPU is under load? But if yours is going all the way up to 80, that's a little weird because mine doesn't do that. Maybe you need to update the firmware. Uh, Alternatively, what you can do is just set it down to 54 watts for the power limit. I'm not sure. But I would say definitely if you're hitting 97 watts or 97 degrees Celsius, that's too high. I would try to bring it lower, get it down to like the 85 mark, so you make sure you don't hit thermal throttling. Got some Jersey mics. 100% goes to charity today. Nice. That's cool. Yeah, Jersey Mike's make some good sandwiches. I wish they would toast their sandwiches. That would make me love their sandwiches. Chippy, why are there two scores for each game? So the first score is the average. The second score is the 1% low, Chippy. Some of the games I don't get 1% lows on. Darren and I are probably going to play some VR later. Sweet. Well, we're hitting 39, 41 FPS right now. The game lagged out for a second there. We're set up. Perfect. Okay. There we go. Has anything about the response time for the display been mentioned yet? Raylancer, this definitely still has a slower response display. Hard to know exactly how much. Okay, so I think it's F3. Yes, F3 turns up my throttle. Now I gotta do 9 and parking brake. Okay, we're going. We're rolling. So I just let it roll. Just let it do its thing. We tilt up in the air, and as soon as we start tilting back down, that's the end of the benchmark. And usually it either veers to the left or to the right a little bit. Okay, we're tilting up. And we're about to tilt back down right there. Okay, so 3021. This is like almost the same performance again to what we get with the Scar or the Strix series. And it's because it's a CPU bound game, and the CPU in this is almost the same. Almost the same. So 3021. I think that's actually like 1 frame higher than I got on some of the other laptops, which is super interesting to me. Ray Lancer, I would also suggest that there's 2 display options this year. You can also get this in a QHD 120 hertz version. I saw some people in chat say that that has a faster response rate, only a 5 ms response rate, but I don't know if I have not verified that. But I can go back into my Warzone test and you can see some of the ghosting. It doesn't ghost as bad as last year's model, but it definitely has some ghosting though. So yeah. Probably explains why the other 2021 Asus models had their response time except for the G14 LOL. Yeah, probably. Yeah, Ray Lancer, if you really want to get a better response rate, I do recommend the Zephyrus G15 instead. You'll have to go to that, or maybe one of the other laptops that are around this size and price point that maybe has a better response rate. Like I know the GS66 is going to have a better response rate. What else? So the GS66 would have a better response rate. The Zephyrus G15 would have a better response rate. The Aorus 15G would have a better response rate. And the GS66 and Aorus 15G also have a mux switch, so you get better CPU-bound game performance in those laptops. But you just don't get the Ryzen CPU. Tronic Travis, can you do Rust, please? That's what I play, and I'm wondering if it'll do good. I'm guessing this will play Rust just fine. I have not tested it though. I don't play Rust, and I don't include it in my benchmark suite. So I'm sorry, man. I can't help you out because I pre-download all the games for this before I start the stream, so I don't have to make everyone wait, for a long time. Okay, so we want to turn VSync off, triple buffering off. We go to Ultra. We want to go to Vulkan. Apply changes. Restart. There we go. Alex Vallejo, while playing Cold War with the GE75 2070 Super, I'm averaging 170 FPS. Same settings with the Zephyrus G15 37, I would average 130 and thermal throttle down to 90 FPS after about 90 minutes. Interesting. Alex, I think that's because the GE75 2070 Super has a mux switch in it. Also, it's a much thicker, bigger laptop. Keep in mind, right? It's definitely an increased size. 17-inch laptop that's thicker. So CPU-bound games, you'll definitely see better performance with last generation hardware, especially if it has a mux switch. Let's make sure that everything's saved. Ultra, ultra, ultra. Okay, well, now we have to restart again. Didn't save the switch over to Vulkan. Would you recommend this laptop or no? Yes, I will recommend this laptop, but in my review, I'm confident I will be recommending this laptop. But I will also give it with the caveats that it's not for everyone. Like this laptop is specifically geared towards people that just want a super portable machine. And so if you're someone that's like, I want to get as much performance for my dollars spent, then I don't recommend this laptop to those people. I think it's a better to spend your money on a thicker machine, um, larger display probably, so that way the GPU can have a higher TDP. And then also, if you play a lot of CPU-bound games, I do recommend getting a laptop with a mux switch instead. Just letting the peeps know you can get a good deal on last year's lineup and still get great performance. Yes, definitely. Definitely last year's lineup is still possible to get good performance, especially in CPU-bound games. Without a doubt. This is locked to DX12. I don't know why. Super weird. I normally make sure it's set to Vulkan, but it's not switching for me. So I think I'm going to have to rock it like it is. Just I'm going to make a note in my benchmark here. This was done with DX12 instead. Where is Red Dead? DX12. Okay. All right. Let's get that benchmark done. I'm really curious what we get in this test. This is one of the really good tests I think out there for the games, for laptops to show the difference between generation to generation. Because this game is very GPU bound usually, more so than a lot of the other ones. What about Spellbreak? Is it CPU bound or GPU bound? I have only played Spellbreak for 10 hours, and I didn't do detailed performance testing, so I couldn't really help you. If I were to guess, I would guess it's a mixture. If you have it on ultra settings, it can probably become GPU bound. If it's a lower settings, it'll probably be CPU bound mostly or more so. That would be my guess. Can you explain what triple buffering is? So my understanding of triple buffering is that when you're doing VSync, basically triple buffering tries to stack the frames so that way you always have a smooth frame rate. Um, but when it does that, it basically reduces your response rate in the game. So I tend to turn triple buffering off, unless you're just getting horrible screen tearing. Then maybe you'll want to turn it on with VSync enabled. Basically, it's a buffer to prevent stuttering, visual stuttering. Little Samsel, review cheaper laptops like the Tough A15. Little Samsel, I do have some laptops that I've tested. I've tested the Gigabyte G5. This is a $1099 laptop right here. I have a video unboxing and testing this, so you can go check that out. Check my previous live streams. I also have the Tough Dash F15. That's a now $1149 laptop. Um, so I would say that both of those laptops are really interesting. Uh, if you want more performance, I'd go with the Gigabyte G5. Seems like the best performance per dollar laptop on the market right now out of all of them. Jacob Games, thanks for answering. I have a G14 and a G15 coming, and I'll be keeping one and returning one. If I was to choose between a G14 and G15, I would personally choose the G15. Um, but I think the main thing is like I think the G14 becomes more attractive to people that are just on the go all the time and gaming. They still want to play games, but it's more of a secondary thing that they do. It's not the primary thing that they do with their free time. Um, So if you need a laptop that's going to be great for business, you can take on airplane trips or be able to use it on a bus or whatever all the time. Just whip it out anywhere. College, you're a student, you need to put it on a little desk in those classrooms. The G14 might be more attractive. Back when I was a college student, I used 13 and 14-inch laptops a lot. And then after leaving college, I'm like, 15, 17-inch laptops. I wouldn't really go down to a 13 or 14-inch anymore. Um, but for a college student, I could see how the G14 would be more attractive. There we go. Gizmo, what would you recommend from last year's lineup? Let's say $1,700. For around the $1,700 price point, you should be able to get a 2070 Super. And I would say to try to get something ideally with a mux switch and probably you're looking at an Intel 10th gen 10875H. So, oh man, he just ran that lady over. I don't think he does that every time. Um, maybe he does. I just noticed that. It's terrible. All right, moving on. So yeah, I would say try to shoot for an RTX 2070 Super laptop for $1,700 with a nice premium build and hopefully with a mux switch. Um, that would be probably my recommendation. But I mean, that's the weird part. Ideally, you'd want to get like a 2080 or 2080 Super for 1,700 because you're going to get beat by a lot of these other laptops that are outperforming a 2070 Super. So that's where I'm just like, it's for 1,700. I don't know. Maybe you could get a used. Maybe you could get a used 2080 Super laptop for 1,700 because that would be pretty sweet. Okay. Hold on, guys. I see a bunch of comments, but I gotta end this test and record the result here. All right. 5543. That's pretty good. That beats out a lot of laptops with higher end, like 2080, 2070 Supers from last year, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, very nice. Like that puts out some really good frames in that GPU bound game. Okay, on to Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Let's see here what we get. Out of all the new gen laptops you've tested, has one had a really nice keyboard that stood out to you? All of the Asus laptop, I've loved the keyboard on all of the Asus laptops. I really like the keyboard on the GS66, but that one's pretty shallow throw, so not for everyone probably. Honestly, it's a lot of these newer laptops have really good keyboards. I think for most people, when it comes down to keyboard, it's not so much that the keyboard itself is that much better or worse, unless you're going really low budget. The bigger difference for the keyboard is how the home and page up, page down buttons are set up, how they're spaced apart, how they're, um, does that make sense? So like on the Asus laptops, all of the Asus laptops have page up, page downs that are based around the what am I trying to say? They're based around the arrow keys. And that may be a deal breaker for some people, but I actually really like it now. I've gotten really used to that. Other people really need a number pad, and that'll be a big deal for some people, deal breaker. So like in a 15-inch laptop, a lot of these laptops do not come with a number pad, so you got to keep that in mind. Do you need a number pad or not? If you do, that'll change what you go with. All right, I think we're all good. Ready to run this guy. See what we get. Okay. I hear more stock is coming soon. For which one, Fanny? More stock of what? I got an M17 R4 3070 for $1,700. Say 17 plus member discount. Look for the sales next month before the 11th gen Ryzen versions are released. Yeah, that's a great deal, I think, Dunning-Kruger. $1,700 for a 3070. Mm, that's a great deal. By the way, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is on sale, everyone. Nice. M15, not 17. Okay, well, still very similar performance, I think, for the 3070 Dunning. I think they have the same TDP, or very. I think they're the same TDP. Okay, so we got 80 FPS in this. That's some great performance, but nothing groundbreaking. Looks like we're GPU bound here for that section at least. Steven, what's up, man? Owner to Stone is here. Do you prefer being able to switch the function keys to media keys? Um, yes, I love being able to set that up, um, so that you don't have to press the function button. So that you press the function button to hit F1, F2, F3 instead. I like having that option. It's really nice having that option. Jeremy Johnson, hey man, any info on the Legion 5 Pro? I saw one listing for the Legion 5 Pro on the website, but I don't. Yeah, like in the U.S., I checked Lenovo's main store and I could not find it anywhere. So I, as far as I know, it's not still not being sold in the United States. I'll update my sheet as soon as I find it in the United States, the U.S. market. It's interesting. We're staying pretty GPU bound here. Very high GPU utilization, at least through that section. What monitor would you recommend using with the Strix G17? I would probably go with a QHD around 144 hertz, up to 144 to 240 hertz. That's what I would shoot for. Probably like a 27-inch QHD, 144 hertz to 240 hertz. I use I personally use a 27-inch QHD 240 hertz. The Legion 5 Pro is not in the USA yet. I check several times a day. Yeah, Daniel. I try to check regularly too. It's really hard to find it. Um, it's really hard. It's impossible. Like, I still have not found it available in the United States market. But I've seen a bunch of people in Europe and Asia be able to order it, and it's just like annoys the crap out of me that I can't order it. Okay, so what do we get? Let's find out. This is definitely not great performance for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I don't think. 85. Okay. So this thing, I think the Shadow of the Tomb Raider is a little more. It's like it's GPU bound, but also like oddly CPU bound. Maybe I don't know. Maybe this thing just can't. Maybe the GPU in this just can't outdo the CPU. Like the CPU is perfectly filling up the. You know what I mean? Like if you have a more powerful RTX 3000 GPU, then it's gonna bottleneck it. You know, the CPU then becomes the bottleneck if your GPU is powerful enough. That would be my guess. Because yeah, like in Far Cry 5, we got the same FPS as the Zephyrus G14. In Shadow of the Tomb Raider, we got noticeably less. So I think that's just the difference between the two. Time to hop in Rainbow Six Siege. The Gigabyte G5 RTX 3060 scores 102 FPS. Yeah, that's a pretty big difference. That's a big difference. Though the Gigabyte G5, Stephen, I think had dual-sided RAM, and that's a memory-sensitive one. So that dual-sided RAM may also impact performance, um, comparatively speaking. If you haven't seen my RAM comparison test, check that out, Stephen, with 16, 32, 64 gig. I'm thinking dual-sided RAM can be a pretty big difference. No compatible driver hardware found. Well, that's interesting. How is this performance compared to a 2070? It just depends on which 2070 you're comparing it to, Chippy. If you're comparing it to a 2070 in an equally thin and light chassis, it's going to perform really well, comparatively speaking. But if you compare a 2070 to a high TDP 2070, I think a high TDP 2070 will beat this laptop pretty consistently. Is this laptop good for gaming? That's what I want to do, and that's what I'm going to use this for. So please tell me if it's good for gaming or not. Tronic Travis, this is going to be a great all-around gaming machine, but it's going to depend a lot on what games you play. Um, are you going to be able to play all the games that you want to play? Yes, you'll be able to play them and probably at pretty good settings, but this doesn't have a very high refresh rate display. So I would tend to recommend for a hardcore gaming crowd, I think I would tend to recommend other laptops over this one a little bit more often, like the Aorus 15G with an RTX 3060. Um, there's a number of other ones. Check my RTX 3000 spreadsheet in the link down below for other laptops I recommend, and check my top recommended list. Um, okay, so this is not running at all. I wonder if Vulkan is the issue. I wonder if it's related to the drivers, because this should be running. I might have to do DX12 with this one too, because we weren't able to do Vulkan on the last one. I wonder if it's related to the new drivers. I'm guessing it is. Okay. Why should I get this over an Alienware? Ethan Taub, I would say to get this over an Alienware only if you really prioritize portability over performance. Otherwise, I would recommend getting something like an Alienware that has higher TDP over this laptop. Just telling you straight up. This is not a laptop that's designed for everyone. This is really catering to the ultra portable crowd that wants to take something with them everywhere they go, but still be able to game well. Gaspar, do you think Asus might release higher TDP BIOS for machines that can handle it, like the Strix, Scar, Zephyrus? Um, no, Gaspar, I don't think they will, because in my own BIOS testing, like we were hitting thermal throttling when I increased the TDP. I still haven't made that video. I need to make a video about it. But when we increased the TDP, we ran into a hard thermal bottleneck in some games, and I think Asus wants to stay away from that. So I think that they're pretty on point with where they're at with the TDPs they chose, um, except for certain games. Basically, like in certain games, I saw performance gains without thermal throttling, but it just varied from game to game. Like some games, it was like, oh my gosh, the thermal throttling is terrible, and then other games were like, oh, this is good temp still. Okay, cool. So it's just gonna vary a lot. All right, I think we're good to rock and roll here. Alienware M4 versus Strix 15 3070. The Alienware M4 is going to put up better performance in CPU-bound games. The Strix 15 is going to have an AMD processor though, so that's the big advantage I think between those two. But then you also got to compare price, what price you're getting and what other specs you get. HQ Leaks, do you think this year's Aorus 15G is a downgrade from last year's because it skips out on the premium build and mech keyboard just to carry an RTX 3070 on board? So I think the Aorus 15G, I have one back over there too. I did the test. I did some tests on it too. HQ Leaks in the live testing and unboxing. Um, I was pretty impressed with the build quality still. It may be plastic, but it's good quality. Felt like. So like if you really care about premiumness of the build quality over the price, then I would recommend going for something, like the Aorus 17G, for example. That's a more premium build quality because it's got the mechanical keyboard and the all aluminum chassis. But it weighs more and it costs a lot more. Okay, so 179, 126. Well, let's see what 126 was our 1% low. That's the main thing. So 126, 126. Before I forget, 126. 126. Okay. And we got 178. Okay. So we're easily hitting above our refresh rate in Rainbow Six Siege. Our target FPS is 144 hertz. So that's good. This is going to be great for Rainbow Six Siege. And I should also mark that we did DX12 instead of Vulcan again. Okay. All right. Witcher 3 time. After all this time, Gizmo, the game is still at 65%. Aren't you jealous of this internet? Oh, yeah. So jealous. Tronic Travis, I have the G14 on the way. It's going to be here Friday. I'm upgrading from an ROG GL5 to 15-inch 960M. Is that going to be a massive difference? Oh yeah, Tronic, that's going to be a huge upgrade in performance. Yeah, that's going to be an enormous upgrade in performance. You're probably looking at like, I'm guessing 3 to 4 times more performance. At least 2 to 3 times more performance with this laptop. So you're looking at a massive performance gain without a doubt. But it that will depend on the game though. I'm just talking about pure graphics performance. So all right, so we set it to ultra, hairworks off, and we go full screen 1080. That's not what I needed. And then post processing, we set it to high, ultra, hairworks off. Okay, boom. All right, load game. We go to this one. Is fine. Arm up. Owner doesn't own any clue about the Legion 5. Same time scale as far as I know. Link to a shop. I need a shirt. You can click them on my channel. Hello. I hope I don't fall off. Okay, good. I don't want to die, fall and die. Okay. So I just run around here because Witcher 3 kind of has these little stutters right as you load in to a map section. So it's kind of like run through the area first. Right. So here we are. Okay. Let's find out. Now, for anyone that's wondering about the ghosting, this is another game where I can kind of show you the ghosting a little bit. It's just kind of like a little after image when you move the camera really fast. You don't really notice it under normal gameplay as much, but when you try to like do flick firing in FPS games, for example, you'll notice it. Okay, here we go. Starting this benchmark off. See what we get. Chicka, 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 chicka. Jump. And then we sprint, and then we dive. We run over to the beach. Just like this. Is there different wattages for the Max Q 3060, or is there only one kind of Max Q? So there is different wattages. Yeah, you got to keep in mind. You can have the 3060 tuned to a lot of different TDPs. 92, 82. That's pretty good. But I mean, that's very playable. Ultra settings too. Witcher 3. Swinging hard like a boss. Okay, so 92, 82. Very good 1% lows. Apex Legends, Valorant, Fortnite, and Watch Dogs Legion, I think, are the last tests. So we got like 5 or 6 more games. That's all of the Steam games and benchmarks. So let me go ahead and get Apex Legends installing. Let me go ahead and just, I'll put up the RTX 3000 spreadsheet here for a moment while we do this. So you can peruse the spreadsheet Will you watch? So these are my top recommended laptops right here. RTX 3000. So I mean, while we wait for this to install. I can talk about that. Let me just get everything installed. Let me just get everything typed in here. Apex Legends does not take very long to install. Should install in like 5-10 minutes. Okay, it's 40 gigs. Should still be about 10 minutes if we're getting max speed on download. It says 20 minutes right now, estimated time. Okay, so let's talk chat. What we got? If you can stretch the broadcast by 1.5 hours, you can be the first person to bench test Outriders. Okay, are you going to do a review on the new Asus ROG Strix G17 or 15? Brand is awesome. All love to you guys too, making a living out here. Shout out to everybody. Yeah, I saw your comic, Travis. I hope you have good performance in Rust. Okay, so let's talk through. Well, this is installing. We'll just talk through my top recommended RTX 3000 laptops. Okay, so Tough Dash F15, Gigabyte G5, Omen 15Z. I feel like the Omen 15Z is a really good upgrade over these two because the Gigabyte G5 has only a 6-core Intel and it's older tech. But you get the best GPU performance out of this Gigabyte G5 because it can go to 105 watts of power. Plus, you get a really good display, 240 hertz IPS display for only $10.99. The Tough Dash F15 only has a 4-core CPU, not great on our just from a straight GPU performance. Because or sorry, straight CPU performance because it's only a 4-core. 4 cores in a lot of games like Warzone, Battlefield 5, they can take advantage of all 8 cores now, and that'll be a future thing. A lot more future games will be taking advantage of the 8 cores. So I think if you're looking for a maximum gaming performance, that 4-core might hold you back a bit. And then we've got a 3060 lower wattage, only 80 to 85 watts. Now, the Omen 15Z, from what I've seen, this is not that high of a TDP on the Ryzen 7 5800H. It's pretty similar to the performance you can get from the G14. The 3060 is also a lower TDP, I think around an 80-watt TDP. I don't know for sure yet on the TDP. But for 1259, this is a great upgrade. I think that could be worth the $150 to get this. And I think this is the same resolution and frame rate and nits display brightness on the monitor, the 144 hertz. This was a good display as well. So, and pretty responsive with no ghosting. So, or minimal ghosting at least. So very good all-around laptop for 1259. The only thing is 8 gigs of RAM. You'll probably ultimately want to upgrade that to 16 on your own, or just pay for the upgrade initially. That'll bring your price up to about $1,300. But that's a great all-around bang for the buck. The Gigabyte A5, this has been pretty much out of stock because it's also a good deal. It's very similar to the G5, but with a Ryzen instead of Intel CPU. Then we have the Strix G15 and 17. This has been in stock almost not at all. It's been in stock for milliseconds and then out of stock, so it's going to be really tough to buy that. Zephyrus G14, fairly easier to buy, at least so far this year. But yeah, you've got great CPU performance in the G14. GPU performance is lacking, and we don't have a MUX. We don't have a MUX in any of these. As far as I know, the 15Z does not have a MUX either. Starting with the Aorus 15G, though, we do get a MUX. And so this is like the best CPU-bound game performance for the money, probably. The Omen 15T, the Intel version of that, the Omen has a MUX as well. So that's another option that's slightly cheaper than this one. But this is the cheapest MUX-enabled laptop. We also get a really good display, 240 hertz, 100% sRGB for all of the Aorus 15Gs. So Aorus 15G, highly recommended. Zephyrus G15, I highly recommend this one because you get the QHD 165 hertz display. 16 gigs of RAM. That's not great. And 1 gig is soldered. The 3070 in it though is a reasonable power limit, 80 to 100. And the processor is great performance as well. So it's a nice blend, but you're going to get some CPU-bound game performance limitations in this laptop. But it's a nice blend of portability, performance, and premium features for the money, I think. The Strix G15 and G17 for $1,800 is also a great option because you get higher TDP limits, though you still don't have a MUX. And also, I wish this had a QHD display instead of the 15-inch full HD display. Horus 15G, this one was $2,000, but today the price was increased to $2,300. Big old sad face. Big old sad face on that one. It's going to be harder for me to recommend this. I'm going to have to adjust the recommended price down a bit on that. The Zephyrus G15, Ryzen 9 5900HS, 35 watt to 80 watt, RTX 3080, 80 to 100 watt. So this is the 3080 version of this, and this is a pretty good bang for the buck as well. $2,000 for the 3080. This now becomes the cheapest RTX 3080 on the market. Alienware M15 R4, great all-around high TDP laptop, but the Optimus and direct connection options are pretty limited here, so you can read my notes on that if you want more details. But should be a great performance laptop for that's still moderately portable. You just got to choose between battery life and performance there. No MUX switch. Aura 17G, we've got crazy unibody chassis, high overall build quality on this for a reasonable price, $2,100. Not the highest TDP though. You get a good amount of RAM, good display, decent processor, 8-core Intel, but lower TDP 3070, but crazy build quality. GE66, crazy build quality, high TDP, but you got a higher price tag, $2,600. So big old price jump there. But the MUX switch is this is a great all-arounder. You're just paying a premium for it. SCAR 15, SCAR 17, great premium laptop with a good TDP on the CPU and GPU. QHD 165 Hz, really like this. Really like this laptop. This is a laptop I chose to use personally. That said, when I'm really wanting maximum performance, I do use my desktop, or I would hook this up to an external monitor to bypass Optimus. Alienware M17R4, probably the most powerful laptop you can buy right now. Highest TDP, at least, for the GPU. Really, really good overall. Same for the GE76. This has a MUX switch, and this has a direct connection option, so you can get really good performance there. Razer Blade Advanced 15, really high performance, really high premium build quality, QHD display with advanced Optimus, 240 Hertz QHD display. The only one that I have found that's like that. Really, really cool. I love this overall idea, but you are sacrificing some performance because it's a thin and light chassis, basically max Q for the CPU and GPU. So not the ultimate level of performance, though I would say this has the best display on the market. And the fact that it's advanced Optimus, not very many laptops have that. Flow X13, this thing is super portable, super light, and you can get an external GPU, RTX 3080, for some crazy amount of performance. $3,000 though. Zephyrus Duo 15, this has a higher TDP on the CPU than the SCAR 15, so this probably has the highest level of CPU performance in a gaming laptop that's thinner and lighter. Great TDP on the GPU as well. And you get a 4K 120 Hertz display. Maybe this is the better display in any laptop. I don't know. Hard to say. Though I would say the QHD, for more esports-oriented gaming, this is going to be better. The QHD 240. So, but yeah, that's kind of my breakdown on all the top laptops right now. And you can see not all of these are in stock. Only a handful of them are. So good luck finding everything that's in stock. But that's my quick summary of all the RTX 3000 laptops that I recommend. Hopefully that's helpful. Apex Legends says it's playable now, but it's not fully done downloading. Let me see if I can hop over to chat so I can chat with you guys. See what you guys are saying. I hope, does that help, guys? What do you guys think of that list? Does Brandon have shirts for sale? No, I don't. But I should, right? You guys want some shirts? The M15R4 is now available with Advanced Optimus since March 8th. I get 6 hours of web browsing and watching videos and direct GPU connection for gaming with G-Sync without restart. Ooh, when did they add that? They did not. Let me. I gotta check this. Um, you've got me really curious now. Is that for? Let's see. Because if that's the case, that makes the Alienware really attractive to me. And definitely would make me recommend it more. So probably gotta look at the most expensive model here. Where do you see that it has advanced Optimus? I think it just has regular Optimus on the 300 hertz. I don't think it has advanced Optimus, but as far as I know. Uh, I don't, as far as I know, that only has regular Optimus, not advanced. What do I think about the Helios 300? Um, Decent laptop, but it's not as competitively priced as it used to be, so it's harder for me to recommend. All shirts are 3XL, just like the tech reviews. Love it, so comfy. M15 only? Okay, well let me check. M15. M15. Boom. I thought it was I not I was on the M15 because I don't see the maybe it's not on this option. Let's see. Let's try customizing a 3070 version. Oh, it does say Advanced Optimus. Ooh. Ooh. That's a nice. But they don't have it on the 3080 version? Why? Why would they not offer it on 3080? That's that makes me so sad. Oh, that makes me sad. Because if I wanted to buy this, I would get the 3080 version. Uh, man, that is really interesting. Um, oh, was I not showing my display? Yeah, okay. I'll show them my display here. Um, so you have to go to the cheaper option, and then right here you have a 144 hertz 3ms 300 nits G-Sync and Advanced Optimus. Why can't you get a 300 hertz with Advanced Optimus, right? Like that's to me is like, that's what I want. Oh, when I talked to Alienware, they said it's because the Intel integrated GPU cannot put out 300 hertz refresh rates. Is their reasoning behind it? So maybe that's why. My 3070 hits 11K in Timespy graphics and balanced thermal and power mode. Hits 11.7K with 125, 225 OC. Not 3080, but not a lightweight. That's awesome, Dunning. That's really good. I scored Asus Zephyrus G14, 5900, 3070 thanks to Gizmo Tech. Spreadsheet picked up Friday at Best Buy. Pretty stoked. Awesome, Jake. That's great, man. What do you think of the XPG Xenia 2070 Max Q 1299? That's not a great deal, Clausomania, because you can get a lot better performance, I think, for your money for 1300 bucks. I'd buy a shirt. I've become a big fan of Giz. It's one of the only 4 things I am subscribed to. Thanks, Casper. I appreciate your loyalty, sir. Can this laptop run VR games? Oh yeah, gate, gate of heaven, hell bridge. Yeah, you can run VR games with this. We've got 1 minute and 30 seconds left on Apex Legends. We're almost done. What do you think of the GP66 Leopard i7-10750H 3070 variant? I saw people online saying it's a Max P variant. Yes, it is. I think it's a good option if you're trying to save money and you don't really need you don't need CPU performance as much. That said, more games are becoming CPU bound and are using 8 cores instead of 6. So in some ways, in some games, you might actually struggle, but that should have a mux switch in it, the GP66, so you should be able to get good CPU and GPU bound game performance. My M17 is 12,681 graphics and 9155 Timespy. Honestly, though, I'm not seeing a big increase in actual games compared to the Strix 15. Yeah, Daniel, it's going to depend on which game you're playing, probably. Um, if if you have a direct connection to the CPU, then you're going to get bigger gains in CPU bound games. In GPU bound games, though, you'll probably only see like a smaller difference in games, probably between like 3 to 7-ish%, maybe. But it should hopefully be a noticeable difference. Gaspar with the $1. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Chris B, your sheet is awesome, man. Got a Strix G17 3070 on BH Photo the other day. From it, sold out when they opened orders for maybe 4 minutes. Oh, dude, congrats, man. You're one of the lucky few. One of the lucky few able to put an order in. Alex Official, Gizmo Slip Tech, do you know when Legion 5 is coming to the US? I don't know, Alex. I was expecting in March for them to release it, but I believe it's been delayed until April sometime. I want to disable Origin in-game. Boom, boom, boom. Cool. Daniel Barrakeet. I tested Red Dead, Gears 5, Doom Eternal, and Watch Dogs. No message, just $1. Thank you for helping decide on the Zephyrus duo. No problem, Gasper. Thundercat. Hey, what do you think of the upcoming Ryzen Alienware M15? Have they announced it, Thundercat Craft? Sorry, not Thundercat. I apologize. What do I think of the Alienware M15? I have not seen any specs on it yet. I don't have any information, any official information or anything on it either. So, but if they do release it, it sounds awesome. I tested Red Dead, Gears 5, Doom Eternal, and Watch Dogs. Got all extended external monitor. Gotcha. I'm curious what you got in Red Dead Redemption if you end it at the exact same time that I uh, that I end it in my tests. Okay, so for video, we do 90 full screen, native 1080p. We turn off VSync. Oh, we gotta turn on. That's right. This is we're gonna need to restart the game because we have to bypass our FPS cap. I gotta say, Apex Legends is very silly. It's like plus FPS underscore unlimited or something like that. Like it should be a settings in your where's the command? There it is. Boom. Like it should be just a command like a settings in the settings button that you can just change within the game. Like I shouldn't have to type it in into a launch command property. I'm on my phone and don't see any option to send any money. Um, bottom right corner. is what Arnav says. So Gasper, were you able to actually get your Zephyrus Duo in? I think you emailed me. I can't remember. Did you get it in stock? Like in hand? I wrote it down. LOL. Got between 60 and 70 custom strict 60 75 on the Alienware. Yeah, I would guess there'd be a minimal difference between the two, but just like a small difference. You'll see a bigger difference if you do something like CS:GO. Not worth carrying around the hotter unit with a 330-watt brick. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, it'll only be worth it for some people. Okay, middle one. See, is this the middle one? I think this is the middle one. Okay, cool. So we go right here. This is just a quick test for Apex Legends. Oh no. How do I undo the timeout? Sorry, Gasper, you're timed out. Nightbot, gotcha. You got you good. I've been told the MSI GF series has a 75-watt 3060, but when I look at other 3060s, they have a range of wattage. So Chippy, I saw you ask this question a couple times. The 3060s can have a large range of wattage. This laptop, for example, right now is hitting 60 watts on this game right now, and um, so you got to keep in mind that some of them out there, some of the 3060s will go all the way up to 130 watts. So doubling the amount of electricity that can go through the 3060. And that's a huge, huge difference in performance. It could probably boost performance by ballpark 30%, give or take. So it just depends. Daniel Barricade with the $10 donation. Oh, by the way, guys, uh, I talked to a company today called Stream Elements. They are going to help me get this thing going where it'll track all the donations and put them in the video description. So that way, when people donate, it'll be like part of the video description, and then it would be like the top donations or whatever, and or most recent donation and stuff like that. It's a really cool interactive tool. So I'm gonna start doing that for the live streams. Okay, so we got 203 and 161. So this is obviously cranking out some crazy FPS here. Keep in mind this is just the training zone though. But again, this is how I compare performance across laptop because this doesn't change from game to game. Okay. Cool. 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 Now we're loading up Epic Games. Fortnite and Watch Dogs Legion. Then we got Valorant. That's it, right? Fortnite, Watch Dogs Legion, and Valorant. Anything else? I think that's it. Should I upgrade the RAM on the G14 or no? I would probably not recommend it, Tronic, because since it's soldered to the half of it is soldered, it's just probably not worth it. Would a 75 watt 3060 beat a 2070 115 watt? Um, those would probably be pretty close, Chippy. For RTX and DLSS titles, probably the 3060 would beat it because of the new Ampere architecture. But for regular graphics in most games, I would say the 2070 is going to be really, really close. Maybe even beat it. Just thanks for listening and reading comments. My comments. Yeah, no problem, Daniel. Thanks for coming to the live stream. Armanov ran. Yeah, and thanks for the donation, obviously as well. Um, any new info on the 30 series Legions in the U.S.? I really want the Legion 7. Can't wait until past June. L4D. It's gonna be that that laptop in particular is one of the ones that's really hard to buy. Um, and I have not seen it available in the US yet. So I would expect it to be available probably sometime this month, probably. But if it's sold out like crazy, what difference does it make if they list it on the website? Because you still can't order it. You still can't order it because it's sold out. Chip shortage, man, is brutal right now. Looks like we have to watch this intro. Jonesy. Oh man, this is gonna change how my FPS tests go, isn't it? Fortnite is always changing their dang map. What should I upgrade on the G14 for game performance? Um, Probably not much, Travis. I think you're gonna get. I would say to use an external monitor if you want better game performance. Hook it up through the USB-C port. That's probably going to be your number one thing you could upgrade. At least if you're doing CPU-bound games. Wow. Okay, so this is a Terminator integration. Haha, this is awesome. This is actually kind of cool. Terminator and Alien. Huh. Wait, God of War is it? Man, Fortnite is insane. There's Predator, and what's that? Is that a... Fortnite's insane. And there's Tekken. Master Chief. Did they really add all those skins into the game? Man, Fortnite is. There's a reason why it's so popular. The devs are just insane. I really wish I could skip this intro though. Okay, let's just check. Show us MSI GP66 Leopard. That would be a good one to test, Obey Sensei, but I'm gonna wait to do the MSI laptops until 11th gen Intel laptops come out. At least anymore, because I just feel like it's not worth it. Or maybe if they eventually stick the Ryzen 5000 series laptops in. Okay, so what integration is this now? Or what collaboration is this? Is that from Iron Man? Their animation's really cool. It's like really high tier animation. What's the best laptop for 1K? I would recommend the Gigabyte G5 probably. Big Paco 2213. Thank you for your videos. They really help me out. Or they help me out a lot. LOL. Or not LOL. Just a lot. Sorry, I'm getting tired. Yeah, welcome to the live stream, Big Paco. Thanks for stopping by. You got your just G15 this afternoon from Best Buy. Nice. Congrats, man. You like it? So this looks like we're in game now. Are we in game? Oh, there we are. We're just regular dude now. Can I go to the menu now, please? I'm just here to benchmark. But welcome to the stream, everyone. Looks like a bunch of new people. I've seen some. Exotic has some laptops with the desktop i9 10900K with an RTX 3080. And a few others too. Any thoughts on the Exotic in general? So that's a Clevo-based chassis. Okay, more intro videos. Holy crap! Also, wow, the amount of collaborations this season's off the charts. Um, okay, how do I just get into a match? Travis. Okay. New testings. Epic. Off. Textures. High. Effects. Off. DX12. We want DX12. Yeah, we want DX12. And yes, okay. Apply. Keep these settings. Yes, okay. Is everything here? Yes. All of this is correct. So I don't have to restart this game again. Okay. All right, chat. Coming back to chat. Yeah, I've been doing some Fortnite and YouTube. Been amazing. Updates take forever, but I can't complain much. Cool. Glad you're liking that laptop. It's a great laptop, I think. Most people are going to be super happy with it. What external monitor should I get for the G14? I would go to Amazon and or Best Buy or whatever, and just look for a. My recommendation would be a QHD 144 hertz to 240 hertz, and then yeah, preferably with G-Sync or FreeSync. That's my recommendation for monitor Tronic, Travis. So Arnav Ranjan, I always test Fortnite in low settings. So that's the way I test and compare it, because that's the way real more hardcore players will play the game. Like back when I played it, I was like just trying to get as many FPS as possible. Okay, well, Battle Lab and accept. Okay. Play. I suppose we should create a Battle Lab. Yep, that's what we want. Right? Wait, do we want that? It didn't give me the same options as last time. Fortnite always changing their game up on me. Looking at the G15 3060 and the new Omen 15 3070 with the Ryzen 78, is the QHD necessary for the 3060? No, I honestly, for the Omen 15Z, I would generally recommend the full HD a bit more, honestly. Okay, we need to go to Holly Hedges. I don't even know which one is Holly Hedges. Is it this one? Oh god. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, Fortnite really did a number on me this time. So Nerdy Dan, first thing you want to do is change your bindings for Elite Dangerous if you're going to play Elite. Okay, and all right. So Battle Lab, that's what we want. Accept. Play. This will give me an option to hit play. No? Ah, okay. Looks like, oh, custom options? No. They used to make it they used to make it so that you could pick the area of the map that you spawned into. I guess not anymore. Ah, there we go. Okay, we're good. We're good. I guess they changed it because it used to, I think, ask you before you loaded in. Chris B with the $5. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for the support. Um, perfect little treat out for me to go get something nice from Dairy Queen. That's what I think about it. It's like, how many blizzards can I buy with that? Okay, so this is just the rough test. So this is the test I use to be able to compare performance across different laptops. I land here in this corner, look this way, exact same settings, and then we can also load into a match, and I can just kind of run around the match a little bit, get a realistic match performance. So let's run for a little bit. Wait, I have to change controls. Nerdy Dan, let me just send you a link. I'll send it to your Discord for Elite Dangerous controls because you're gonna wanna change to match this guy's control scheme. Okay. Do do. Because otherwise the default one's just a little too hard to figure out, I think. Anyway. Okay, so 166, 129. All right. Now, let's go back and just load into a match so you can see what some general gameplay looks like. So Nerdy Dan, do I have to get my headset out to change controls? No, you're gonna control the game, Nerdy, with a keyboard and mouse. You don't control it with your controllers. Oh, I just quit the game instead of loading into a match. I am a silly Billy. So I'm just gonna load into a match, dive into a populated area, try to kill someone and die. If I don't find anyone to kill or die to, then I'm just gonna quit because I'm just trying to give you an idea what the realistic match is like. Nerdy. So it makes a lot more sense when you start learning the game because Elite Dangerous takes a lot of there's a lot of controls required to master Elite Dangerous, um, and you wouldn't be able to control it just with your normal controls because there just wouldn't be enough buttons to press. Solos accept. I'm a champ too on Rocket League. I got this. Yeah, you can do it. Voice attack, fairly dangerous as a godsend. Nice. That's actually a good idea. Yori DJ, do you have any advice on where to get this in Europe? For the 3060 build, the cheapest in my country is 2100 euros, which is pretty expensive. Yeah, Yuri, I think at 2100 euros, that would be that's just too expensive. If you, especially if you can get some other laptops that are cheaper, that'll give you better performance. You just have to get something that's not as portable though, or pay the premium. Um, in terms of where you can buy it, I would say you should probably take a look at my check my spreadsheet. I have some European vendors lists on there. Um, so like there, I think there's like 6 or 8 or so different European vendors. You can probably use that for um, try to find some alternative places to buy that are reputable. Do I play Horizons? So Horizons is the latest one, nerdy. You'll want to play that one, and it lets you land on all the planets and everything, or not all the planets. You can only land on like half the planets. Okay, where is a popular place I can land and fight? I guess we'll go this tab. What's up, Fab Labs? Yeah, I remember you. But yeah, I don't like answering that question because everyone's gonna be like, "Hey, you remember me? Hey, you remember me?" Uh, is literally no one landing near me? Oh, there's more people there. Okay, good. I guess we'll go to this house. Ah, Oh yeah. That's actually a really good start, right? Get some minis and oh goodness. Man, now I'm gonna want to play this game. Like remembering how awesome it was. I'm probably just gonna die so fast. Give me my gun back! Oh yeah, sit down! Uh oh, nice. We got ourselves the legendary something. Is it a legendary pump? I mean, when I'm playing this at 144 FPS, I gotta say the ghosting is much less like noticeable. I think. I don't know. I heard some people fighting over here, so I'm just gonna try to go kill another person. But the good news here is we're hitting 100. I can't tell where that shot's coming from. Oh, hello. Oh no! Okay, good. Good I died. It's better for me to die anyway. Okay, I get too involved in this. All right, GG's everybody. Okay, there's Fortnite for you. All right, Watchdog Legions. Let's do this. Last game, I think, on our... No, second to last game. We got Valorant yet to test as well. Watch Dogs Legions. Okay, let's hear. Do you have any advice? Okay, blah, 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 blah. Did you finally decide to keep the Scar 15 instead of the Alienware M17R3? What made you decide that? So the M17R3 was just, I never was deciding to keep that or not. I like the Scar 15 because it's a nice blend of thermals, performance, and portability, and battery life, and display, and cool RGB. So I had an Alienware Area 51M is what I had. Um, so it's a bit different. The Alienware Area 51M is just like it's like a big honking thing that has a desktop CPU in it. Um, and the Scar 15 is just way more portable, while still offering similar levels of performance, or better performance in most cases. Similar levels of CPU performance, better GPU performance. Can you boost? Can the boost still be disabled on this laptop to keep temps down? Eris Sanian, uh, I am not sure. I have not tried disabling the boost. I'm trying to test it just like it is. I'm guessing you probably can though. Though people may have to troubleshoot it to figure out how to do it. Okay, so we want to do Ultra. Then we want to do DLSS on Quality and RTX on Ultra. Yep, cool. Here we go. Whatcha? Is the Zephyrus G14 RTX 3060 worth waiting till May, or maybe I should go with the RTX 2070 laptop? Um, Manu Jane, that's gonna just be a ton. I don't know which 2070 laptop you're talking about, so yeah, it's hard for me to give you a good analysis or comparison without knowing the exact specifics between the two. JPW, you could always hook the G14 to a higher response time monitor for competitive gaming, right? Yes, JPW, you can. You'd want to use the USB-C port to do that. Have you ever had 99.99 ping in a game before with a high quality laptop? I mean, 99.99 ping is related to your internet, not the laptop. Would you miss anything about the Alienware? Well, I mean, the Alienware is just a big, thick monster laptop, but I did absolutely love the keyboard on the Alienware. I still have it over there. The keyboard spacing and key travel depth and feel of the keyboard is next level, but the Scar 15 keyboard is also really awesome with the optomechanical keyboard switches. So that's a tough trade-off. Do you have a separate private page or contact where I can ask you all techie stuff? Probably the best place to do it, Nihal, is in my live streams because I can just answer questions here. Okay, so what do we get? Average of 46, 38 with a 1% low. That's pretty good. Let's see here. Okay. I think that's pretty good, but it's just, it's not as high as what you get with a thicker chassis with a higher TDP. Which you'd be able to, but for how thin and light this thing is, that's where I think it's pretty good. I think it's actually great. It's insane in a way for the size. When you think about it, this laptop's performance from a size to the frame rate you're getting, that's where this thing really shines. Price for this model was $14.99, and I bought it from Best Buy. After using the Ryzen 9, I can't use a current gen Intel mobile laptop anymore. Daniel, I kind of feel you on that one because the thermals and the power requirements for the Ryzen laptops are just so much lower. So you just end up with like a better temperatures on your GPU as well, because oftentimes there's shared heat pipes between the GPU and the CPU. So, I mean, when you get really good, um, when you use the 7 nanometer chip in the Ryzen 5000 series, you just end up with like this, you know, a cooler running laptop with better battery life, with better temperatures on the CPU and GPU if it's properly cooled and designed. Um, but you can still have bad temperatures on a Ryzen laptop too. But yeah, given everything equal in a chassis, you should have better temperatures on the Ryzen. Thoughts on 11th gen Intel? I think it's coming out soon, and I don't know exactly how the performance will be. I'm hoping the performance will be better in games than the Ryzen. Or 11, I think the 11th gen Intel 6-core or 8-core laptop CPUs. Hopefully, I think they should be 6-core. I think, but hopefully they'll provide better gaming performance than the Ryzen and the 10th gen Intel. I think that would be their only true merit. I think they'll be worse in multi-core than Ryzen though. It's a mosh pit down there. These dudes are fighting it out. Okay. So we got to load into Valorant now, and then we'll be done benchmarking this thing. 47.38. Wow, we got almost exactly the same, which is rare. Makes me wonder if it didn't save our changes. Let's make sure our changes. Yep, we did not get it. It changed. Did it save now? It saved now. Weird. Gotta run it again. Because, yeah, we should see a performance difference. I think it should increase a bit in this benchmark. The fan is very loud on the highest settings. Yes, laser active guy. This is a pretty chunky loud fan, in my opinion. But that's what you get when you get a super thin laptop. It's kind of one of those things you got to pay. It's like the fan. Like anytime you get a super thin laptop, the fan's going to be loud, and usually the chassis is going to run hot. Um, that's going to be true of almost all the thinner laptops. And the thinner and smaller you get, and the more power they pack into that thinness, um, usually the fans are going to be louder and the chassis is going to run hotter. Nihal Ken, thanks, Brandon. We have talked on Reddit, and you have helped me decide between the Scar 15 and the M15 R3. Sadly, I can't catch your live streams because of the U.S. and Australian time difference. Well, you're here this time, Nihal, so you just got to try to make it next time. Try to make it next time. I do also try to answer comments on my videos a lot too, so you can also, especially if you see a video that I've recently posted, that's when I check those comments the most often. Oh, can you try Roblox Arsenal? Sorry, man, I don't. I've got a set number of games I test. That's what I test. So, sorry. I ordered an Asus Tough Dash 3060, and I had a Gateway Creator Series 5.6 with an i5 and 2060. It has a MUX. Which should I send back? What's your price point chosen? Because I feel like, and also, what's your price point and what are you going to use it for? Is it just casual gaming? Is it video editing? Photoshop? Okay, did I put that in correctly? Watch Dogs 5444. Cool. Yeah. On to Valorant now. I think we're going to have to restart the machine though. Yeah, it's going to need a restart. Pretty sure. Okay. 1100 versus 800 plus 60 for the RAM. Gaming at my wife's house. Okay, for $1,100. I guess I know what games are you playing, Chosen? If you're playing GPU bound games, I'd say the Tough Dash is going to be a bit better. For CPU bound games, though, you might get better performance with the Gateway Creator with a 2060. That's a pretty good price, $800 for a 2060. So, yeah. Does the G14 come with the arc flow fans the G15 has? I'm not sure, Chosen. I'm not sure. Abron. Sorry, I read the wrong name there. What's up, Matthews? Hugs from Brazil. Gotta love hugs. Is a graphics enhancer worth on the G14? I'm not sure what you mean graphics enhancer. I have a 3070 desktop at my house. Gotcha. Fortnite, WoW, the new Outriders game. Okay, so for Fortnite and WoW, you're probably gonna have a lot of CPU bound areas. I'm not sure about Outriders. Let me see. Outriders. Uh, spec requirements. So, wow. Outriders. Okay. Looking here. Looks like for basic level, it's not a big deal. But for ultra, they recommend a 3080. Huh. So for Outriders, you're probably looking at better performance with the. I just used my fingerprint reader right there. For Outriders, you're probably looking at better performance with that Tough Dash with the 3060, most likely. If you want the best all around performance for your money, you should go with the Gigabyte G5. Though, if I was to be recommending something, But that Tough Dash F15 should still be an alright gaming machine for how portable and light it is. It's just it's not going to be the best bang for the buck. Mainly because of the CPU only being 4 cores. It's going to be the main bottleneck. Let's see here. We want Valorant. That's right. We also need to open HW info and Afterburner. I want the G5, but finding it at MSRP is hard right now. Yeah, Chosen, you want to buy mine? I'm going to be benchmarking mine eventually here and then selling it, so. And I would just sell it for exactly what I bought it for. I feel so bad joining these games and then leaving. Can I just do deathmatch? I'm not sure if deathmatch is going to work for us. Are you going to do a review of the 3070 Aorus 15G, or did you do it already and I missed it? No, so I've got an RTX 3080 Aorus 15G. I want the G5, but finding it at MSRP right now is hard. Oh, sorry, I missed that. I already responded to that. Yeah, no, I don't plan. I don't currently have any plans to review the 3070 Aorus 15G. Can I buy whatever I want here? Oh, I can. That's nice. Okay, so this is the first time I've tried deathmatch before. What was that? Oh, the game just started. I think that was just a warm-up session or something. Shkabloomy. Double kill. This might be the way I need to test all my... This is how I should probably test this going forward. Just do deathmatch. Come here. I got some hurting for you. Oh, double kill again. Are we winning? Well, we're hitting the 144 hertz of the display, no problem. Hey. That was one shot, though. Yeah, I'm number 1 right now. We're a winning team. Oh, he got me. Oh yeah, this machine will work pretty well for this game, right? I think I can still see some ghosting, but it's definitely minimal, you know? It's not the bad ghosting. It's just it's medium ghosting. That's how I would describe it. So for more casual oriented gamers that don't play esports all the time, probably all right. For everyone else though, it's for more competitive people. Don't get this one. I don't think. That's my summary of that. We're not winning anymore, team. All right. Oh, you can close that? I didn't know you can close that. Oi, oi. Oh, those little health things top you up to max health. That's nice. Oi. Okay. All right, team. There you go. That's Valorant. Averaging 175 FPS in team deathmatch mode. Pretty freaking awesome. So I mean, I think you're gonna be able to get. So my summary of the performance of this is we're getting solid performance. It's just a shame that the screen response time is not very good. We have ghosting. It's probably the biggest con for the gaming side of things. We have excellent CPU performance. Um, and overall, I really like this machine, but the chassis does get warm and the fans can't get loud if you want to have good temps. Um, I still need to do stress tests, battery tests, and all that other stuff, but for people that just prioritize portability and they don't mind a little bit of ghosting on the display, this laptop I think is pretty freaking awesome. Okay, for all the competitive gamers, I would skip it. Also, if you're wanting the most performance per dollar, skip this laptop. Okay, Hiroshi Tello, hey, I just ordered this laptop. I hope it's worth it. Thank you in advance. Cool. Well, there's my summary, Hiroshi. Um, I have the 3070 model and love it. Oris 15G. Just wondering what you're thinking about that model. Scott Boyles, I think it's really, really good. I haven't done my full benchmarks on the Oris 15G at all yet, though. So, and I may not end up doing that. Hopefully, I can get. I may hold off on doing the full test on the Oris 15G until I get the 11th gen processors. Do you buy all these laptops for benchmarks, or does the company send you a review sample? Thomas, it just depends. Sometimes I buy them. Sometimes I get samples sent to me. Lately, I've been buying a lot of them. I had the Oris 15 G37. I remember recommending it to you, but one of the fan blades broke. It's sad because I was loving that machine. Ah, yeah, yeah. I really like that machine overall so far. You're doing pretty well in spite of any ghosting. Yeah, no, you can still you can clearly still game really well on this machine, in spite of any ghosting. It just can be kind of annoying. Like it's not a super slow response time. So it's just like a medium response time. Not terrible, but not instantly quick like you get on the Zephyrus G14 and the Scar and Strix series. Arian, um, can you please test with 40 gigs of RAM, the G14 and 15? Yeah, I talked about that several times in this review. It's just a matter of me being able to find time to do it because it's a whole video and review that I can't do of an entire laptop if I were to do that test, basically. So that's kind of why it's like hard for me to find the muster my. I only have so many hours in a day to be able to do things, you know. So that's where it's tough. Um, but yeah, I would like to, but I'd have to find the time. Anyway, so that's it for the stream, guys. I hope this was helpful in deciding whether the Zephyrus G14 is for you. I think this will help some people decide. Um, yeah, that's it for my overview and analysis of the G14. Pretty freaking awesome laptop in a lot of ways. I think a lot of people really love this machine. So, and I think other people won't. So just try to figure out what camp you're in. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.